Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Sarah Smith, and you're listening to Raw Intentions. I am coming at you live from suburbia in Denver, Colorado. I've got Rachel and Alex Engen here in their home. It is a beautiful, stunning little space. Big space. Sorry, we talked about the square feet. And we met via Instagram. I had Rachel on the podcast actually about a year ago, and we had a lot to catch up on. And when we chatted last time, she was like, you have to get my husband on here too. He's incredible and would be great on the mic. So I made my way out here and we had the most amazing chat. We talk about all kinds of things, relationship advice. We talk about growing up and finding ourselves, refinding ourselves when we have children. We talk about hopes and dreams and sticking to those, hitting rock bottom, coming back from it, health scares, and everything in between. You guys are going to love this episode and learn so much no matter what point of life you are in. And I'm so excited to introduce Alex and Rachel to Raw Intentions podcast. Okay, so we've got Rachel and Alex Engen today. I'm so excited. We're in Aurora and their beautiful home, if you guys are watching on YouTube. And I had Rachel on, I guess it was maybe like a year ago, which is crazy. And we haven't gotten to meet yet in person.
It's been a crazy year since we've
crazy
turned 30.
Year.
We turned 30.
Yes, Wait, how old are you?
I'll be 32 next week.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you're super old.
Yeah. Wise.
Got it, yeah.
Super wise.
Of course, we'll be getting some advice. But yeah, Rachel and I chatted last year. We got connected through mutual friends and just like social media and had such a great conversation. So definitely check back on that episode and we can give a little background too and kind of reintroduce you guys. But I remember when we talked, you were like, you have to get my husband on the podcast at some point because he would be so great. And like you said, this has been a crazy freaking year for both of y'all. And so I'm excited to catch up and, chat on the pod. So if you guys want to take a second, introduce yourselves to the listeners.
You first.
No, ladies first, please.
Me. Okay. I'm Rachel Engen and wife to this guy, Alex. Mom of two awesome girls, Aspen and Logan. They're 6 and 4 now, which is crazy.
Wow. Didn't one of them just have a birthday?
Yeah. Aspen just turned 6. So we've been parents for 6 years, which is wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
From Cincinnati, Ohio, moved to Austin, Texas, post-grad, moved to Denver 2022, obsessed with all things mountain activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And co-founder of Your Mom Shreds. I've got my own freelance business as well, and I just started a new job, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just like quick facts about me.
Love it.
Well, my name's Alex and born in Kansas, actually.
Oh,
Raised in
okay.
Cincinnati. My parents went the wrong way. They should have went west.
Mm-hmm.
And they were huge skiers. And then when they had us, they just stopped. And so I didn't see my first mountain until Rachel brought me out here.
Really?
At like 21, 22.
Okay.
And she told me, she's like, I'm living out here. And I was like, we're not supposed to leave Cincinnati.
Yeah.
People don't leave Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But we got out of there, went down to Austin, got up here. I now run a financial planning practice. So I just help people with their money. And that's the easiest way to describe it. People think that, it involves a lot of sales or crazy stuff. And really, it's just having a conversation about what do you want to do with your money and what is it doing right now? And for a lot of people, they just don't know because we weren't taught this stuff.
Yeah.
So I just do a lot of education. And so I practiced on her 5th grade kids when she was a teacher.
Uh-huh.
And that's really helped me, boil it down. But I've always had a pretty adventurous spirit. My mom was always kind of holding me back, saying like, no, don't jump off of that. Or you can only go out one night a week kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, I had a curfew at, 10 p.m.?
His mother is the best, by the way.
She's great. A little bit of a helicopter mom, sure.
I'm Jewish, so my mom is like the classic Jewish mom. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
She's since loosened up, I think, because we've just like broken the shackles down hard. And
Yeah,
we're like,
that's
if you
how
love
moms
us,
do.
let us do this.
Yes, we have to break free.
I once got a voicemail from your mom. I'm going to pause your intro for a minute.
Go ahead, yeah.
And we we used to post these GoPro YouTube vlogs back in the day, like 2015. And we did like a diving one into this
Jacob's
well
Well.
called Jacob's Well. And his mom had seen it and she left me like a 30-second to a minute long voicemail about how I was endangering you.
Yeah, you are, like pretty much saying you are such a bad influence on my son. And
Keep him safe.
I know.
Yeah.
That is so
she's like,
funny.
I trust your judgment, but that was too far. And
And
So, Angie, I'm sorry.
we love
So
you.
funny.
We love you. We've done so
Yeah,
much
so
more
we
crazier
love her
stuff
so
than
much.
that too. So
Yeah.
good
But
thing
you keep going.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
my
This is just the
CFO,
beginning.
by the way. You're talking about your CFO. He's
Yes, my
CFO.
dad's my CFO. So
I don't think you should live with your CFO.
yeah.
I think that,
I will say, I mean, my dad, it's insane that my dad and I still have a great relationship
Yeah.
because like our conversations, like we'll catch up on the phone and he's like, by the way, do you want to go over your Venmo transactions real quick? I'm like, no, dad, like, can we just like have a normal conversation?
Yeah.
So that's
yeah,
tough.
I'll get a notification that something like got declined, and I'm like, Rachel,
Yeah.
Rachel, and then I'll ask her. I'll say, do you want to have a budget meeting? And she's like, no. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
You can handle it all. And I'm like, yeah, but what
But
I
you should
do,
understand.
you affect, and what I, so it's
Oh, my dad's
it's
the same.
interesting.
He was
Sure.
texting me on the way here about some like W-9 or tax things because my taxes are due soon for like, because he does my business and my personal taxes.
Oh, you're 1099.
I don't even know what that means. He was like, you're going to need a W-9. And I was like, where do I find that? Like, where do I get
You have
it?
to make it. You make it yourself.
I don't know.
I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'll
Maybe
help you.
after this,
I'll help
you can
you.
help me.
Yeah.
You can be my new CFO.
Yeah.
It's funny. So that's what I get paid to do, right?
Uh-huh.
Is financial planning.
Uh,
But I think my full-time job is like following her and
Yeah.
like keeping up with
Yeah.
everything she's doing. It was DJing and rock climbing, and then it was teaching,
Yoga.
and then it was yoga, and then it was, the Rachel Engen business. And then at some point you were selling beads, and I was making beads with you.
Yeah, I had a
These-
bracelet shop. I had
these
an Etsy shop.
bracelets.
I didn't know that.
Sure
Yeah.
did.
And then
Yeah.
some
I was
chick
like,
comes in and filed like a DCA copyright
you've
on
dealt with
her.
all of, like,
Yeah.
the trademark
Yep.
stuff before.
And that just like, it wasn't even like a business thing, but it just shot her confidence. She's like, I'm just trying to make money here.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I was just trying to make bracelets.
And then
Actually,
she's
You're like, why does
like,
it have to
she's
be
like,
so hard?
look at Etsy. There's like thousands of boho beads out there. Why are we?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I do most of the time is just kind of keep up with her.
Trying to figure it out. Well, and also like having like working for ourselves like we do and like having so many different things that we try. I'm sure that's a nightmare financially. I mean, my dad is always like, Jesus Christ. That's why I was saying like my business is based at my parents' house because they permanently live there and I move so much. And he was like tired of learning new tax codes for like every new, place that I decide to move to. Which is
Yeah.
just
Oh yeah, all the
hilarious.
state
Yeah.
tax stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and
So.
and I thrive with a little bit of routine.
Okay.
I will say I'm a little bit out there, but I definitely like routine. We I think just got a routine like
Really?
2 weeks, like 2 months ago when you got a new job.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we got a
Do you
consistent.
thrive in routine too?
No.
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 She can't be
Actually,
contained.
Yeah.
Do not contain
I'm
Rachel.
the opposite.
Yeah.
Dampens my spirit a little
But we
bit.
have kids, the routine's a little bit appropriate for them.
They thrive. One of them thrives in routine. The other thrives in chaos.
One of them just thrives wherever she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great. But yeah, that's me.
That's so funny. I mean, but opposites attract. Like you kind of need that yin
Yeah.
and yang, right? That
I think
balance.
so.
Rachel said the best thing about me was that I ground her. And I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment.
Yeah.
She's like, but for me it is.
Yeah.
Like, for me. And I was like, okay.
So how would you describe like the differing like personalities and like things that you two need?
Oh man. I definitely don't like to be confined or like I don't want anyone to be like, oh, that's dumb. We shouldn't do that. Or like open-minded people. I like need open-minded people around me. I need people that are creative around me and not living a very mundane life. Like to me, you're only here once. So like, why don't you just
Yeah.
try and do everything? And like my dad, maybe we talked about this on the podcast last year, but like he had told me like, you are just a master of none. Like you're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And he told me that as like an insult. I'm like, that is actually the biggest compliment you've ever given me. Like, why would I?
Thanks.
I don't want to spend too much time doing one thing because we just don't know how long we're going to be here.
I like
So
that.
I just want somebody who's open to all of that. And that's Alex. He's like just so excited about everything all
Yeah.
the time. And he's like the yes guy. Like when I met him the second time, maybe. I don't know. Not the first time. The
you
first
want
time
to tell her the
doesn't count.
first time you
Oh
met me?
yeah, we need to hear the meat story.
Wait, hold on.
first.
Do the pseudo first time and then the real first time and then the second time.
Okay, so for pseudo first time is me.
In class? No, in class. You thought I was just joining my girlfriend in class.
Okay, yes.
You thought I was going to an extra class for my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was in
okay.
that class.
So my friend Ashley was in nursing class with me, and she always used to bring her boyfriend, which was him.
It was a psychology
and
class.
I thought
It
he
wasn't
was
a
just
nursing
being
class.
Okay.
a sweet boy and coming to class with her, but he wasn't. He was actually in the class, but that was just my assumption. of
Yeah.
him. They broke up. She went to California. She's doing really cool things, and she actually lives here now and has 2 kids. She's
Oh,
amazing.
cool.
But when they broke up, I had assumed I'm a girl's girl.
Yeah.
So I see him at the bar and I assumed that he had broken her heart. So I'm like, Ashley's a nice girl. Like, fuck this guy. And
Yeah.
I just double birded him. And I was like,
Just,
fuck you.
I've never
Ashley's
seen
a
this woman
nice
before.
girl.
You said that while you.
Oh yeah. 'Cause I'm a
my
girl's girl.
I was playing darts.
He was
and
like,
she
what
turned-
did I do? Come to find out, that is not how the relationship ended. We're not going to talk about how it ended. But
we love Ashley. Ashley's great.
Alex's heart may have been more broken than Ashley.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
It was
all-
So I just put salt on the wound.
Yeah. It just kind of surprised me because at that point I had never seen Rachel.
Yeah.
I think I had heard about you before because she was friends with a lot of my frat brothers, but I'd never seen her. And then this girl just double birds me. I've never been double birded before. And I think girls like me. Like,
Yeah.
I tend to get along with them much better.
Uh-huh.
And so for a girl to just straight up come out the gate saying, fuck you, I was like, you don't even know what she did.
Girl's girl through and through, you know?
Oh,
And
that is so funny.
that's how I met him. So not that time, but like
Yeah.
maybe the next time.
The
the
dust-
time
not when the
after.
Yeah,
sparks flew.
the dust settled a little bit.
Yeah, we had met, then we finally like had a conversation, like started dating a little bit.
Wait, hold on.
But
Can I tell her what happened?
about
When I
CrossFit?
first started talking to you? Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was like right when CrossFit started getting like popular.
Okay.
People started getting the ick about CrossFit and like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not real. That's
Okay.
fake.
Mhm.
So she was talking to like, I don't know, 4 or 5 of my fraternity brothers
Yeah, just a
at the
bunch of my
bar.
guy friends.
I think it was happy hour or something, day drinking. And I was sitting at the Touch Tunes. They had like a Pictionary or you had to tell the difference between the two pictures, right? And they had a nude one. So like all the guys would just be like, this. And so I was playing that by myself.
This
and,
is like the Divius bar. There's just
Yeah, sandals would
imagine.
stick to the floor kind of deal. It was so
Oh my
gross.
God.
Yeah, it's-
But I just hear she's talking to him, and then she starts talking about CrossFit, and then the next thing you know, all of these guys just left. Like, left.
You
they're
just
all my
cleared the
friends.
room?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, like she had just crop dusted everybody, and they were like, "Get out of here!" And so I was like, "Oh, I'm actually kind of interested in crop dusting because I was always into like
Crop dusting.
You are? Good to know. Yeah, we're not cutting that. Sorry. We have to keep that one in.
Why does crop dusting and CrossFit sound so similar?
Actually, I'd like to
I
learn more
don't
about crop
know.
dusting. Let me go talk to this girl.
This explains our oldest behavior. She's
Yeah.
very much into crop dusting.
I have a
Okay,
funny
and-
story about crop dusting.
Crossfitting,
Yeah.
right? I was kind of into that. I was interested because it was like,
Were you interested, or were you just interested in me?
no, I was interested in
Be
CrossFit.
honest.
I was
Okay.
interested in CrossFit.
Okay.
Okay. Were you also interested in her?
Well, she was cute.
Okay.
Once the double birds were out of her face, I was
You're
like, "Oh, this girl's pretty."
she's pretty.
And now there's no guys around her. Here's my chance.
Yeah.
Tell me more about CrossFit. And
Mm.
so she, put some information in my phone in the notes and then left her phone number. And I was like, "Oh,
Oh.
sucker,
Yeah.
gotcha,
Gotcha, bitch.
yeah, gotcha, bitch." And then you got invited to kickball, right?
Yeah. So then we did some dating, and then like eventually, so coming back to like he is such a yes person. Like we went on a kickball date. It was really cute. We texted. We eventually like would just like meet up at the bar and stuff. But then one day I got an invite to go down to a concert. See Cherub? Do you know Cherub?
Yeah.
Doses and mimosas.
Of
right?
course.
And I like just texted him and I was like, hey, you want to go to this concert? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, what are you going to do? Go to the same old happy hour.
Put on
go
blast.
back to the frat.
She put me on
Like,
blast.
Smoke
She
a
gave
joint
you the
and then
double
go
bird
back to
another
the
way.
bar. Like, is that you just want to do this over and over again on repeat? Like, come to this concert, it'd be so much fun. So we went to the concert, had a great time.
You want to tell her what you did to me at that concert?
No.
Okay. And then we
get it.
slept on the couch that night. We made out, and then
Yeah.
we woke up, got some Waffle House.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, this girl is checking all the boxes. Like kickball, super athletic. One of the most athletic girls I've ever met before.
Yeah.
And she's unassuming too. And then she's into good music. She's down to party.
I took you down to Red River Gorge, which is a little climbing camping area. That was like our next date.
Oh, in Kentucky.
And
Yeah.
Oh,
we were like going to go
cute.
camping, and my tent was broken, so I borrowed a friend's tent. And as soon as we go to set it up, it like starts downpouring, and we broke the pole on the tent. Like, could not set it up. We went back to the car, so we're like, "Fuck this! Let's get a motel." Got the nastiest motel. It was like a smoking room,
The,
like
the little Abner.
shanty, the little Abner. Yeah,
Little
so
Abner.
sorry, little Abner. We actually love you. Very special place in our heart. But got McDonald's, got super high, and just had a great time. These are like
love
our
that.
dates. So like concert.
Hold on. I've never been camping before. And so when
Mhm.
she's like, will you go camping with me? I was like, I mean, we've already gone to like so many extremes. Why not? And then when we get there and we're setting up the tent, I was like, you didn't practice setting this tent up? I don't know anything about camping, but I know you practice before you get there because it was torrential downpour. We like gave up, got back in the car, and then we were like, should we give it another shot? We did. And then we get out there, and like within 5 minutes, she sees the biggest spider and just screamed, and I was like, I thought you were an
It was
outdoors
also
person.
lightning and thundering too. It wasn't safe to be.
There were a lot of red flags, that's for sure.
Yeah. But he was still like,
yes, man. I
But
mean,
he was
saying
still like,
yes to
yes.
giving it.
He
You're
was
like, yeah,
still like-
sure, yeah.
He was still like, thumbs up. Let's go. What's the next thing?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
What are we gonna
I don't
try
know.
next?
What is the next
Yeah.
thing? Let's see.
Always keeps
That was
it
hilarious.
interesting.
Yeah, so the gorge has a special place in our heart.
Yeah.
And we've gone back there a couple times,
So cool.
but we know how to set up the tents now.
Yes.
We started doing hammock camping, which is so much easier.
Like with an Eno? Or?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Here, it's a little colder, so you need like the bag that goes around the outside. But there it was fine. But
Oh, cool.
yeah, I would say that those are like the people I surround myself with, big yes people. So he like checked all those boxes. He's also very extroverted. I'm super extroverted.
Mhm.
That makes it easier. Like we would just always be out doing things with cool people.
Yeah. And y'all met when
Yeah.
you were 20?
She
I
was
was
20. I was
Okay.
21.
Yeah.
So we've been together for 11 years now.
Oof.
Almost. It'll be 11 this year.
Yeah. Whoa.
Nice.
Whoa.
Which is
Whoa.
so cool. I mean, I have so many friends too in that same boat. I definitely have some friends that I think just married someone to marry someone. Like they don't have like the type of partnership and friendship and relationship that like you guys have and maybe you should have. But I'm also from Alabama, so that, I've already had friends that are married and divorced.
We
Is
do
that
too.
scary?
It just started
Which is
last
crazy.
year.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's 7.
a lot
It's
of
like-
our friends. And like I'm happy for a lot of them. I'm like, you should.
Totally. You're like, good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You
No,
now
I
you're
mean,
figuring out what
I
you
think
want.
that about a lot of my friends too, of like, because I still feel so young. I just turned 30 and I've learned so much about myself in the last like 10 years. And some of my friends who they're with, and like now that I'm experiencing like such a healthy, amazing relationship, I'm like, you don't seem like you are that fulfilled, like more so that you settled in that just because you thought you were supposed to and you didn't know like what else to do kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because you didn't know what else was out there.
No, we're very fortunate that as we were like figuring out ourselves through our 20s, it still jived with each other.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because once you figure yourself out, if you're married and in it, and then you see that other person is not that who you want to be with you, you're just like, I'm trapped. And if you have kids and all this stuff, like I'm seeing the financial messes that people
Oh,
are
I'm
creating,
sure.
and I'm just
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And these poor kids, and it's just
Sure.
so yeah. We joke like maybe we should have waited to have
Totally.
kids, but also we're gonna be done with it.
Yeah.
We're gonna be so young and
We'll be empty
hot
nesters
and
at young
fit.
adults.
Totally.
And we'll be skinning and biking every day, and it's gonna be great. No,
I better
sorry.
hurry up.
We'll be
Sorry.
like 43 when we're
We're
empty
the-
nester. I'll be 43 when I'm an empty nester if
That
our
is
kids choose
crazy.
to leave the nest,
Is that
which
real?
is wild
Do
to
you think you
me.
guys want to have more kids or?
Oh no, he has a vasectomy.
Oh, that's-
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
that is
Well,
done.
I have
No
a hat
way.
that says "Ask me about my vasectomy." I'll
Really?
bring it for you
Okay.
next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
That would be great,
We're
yeah.
big proponents of vasectomy for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're big proponents of not letting kids destroy the relationship because it's
Sure.
like, and like that sounds so bad.
No.
But when you stop focusing on the other person,
Yourself.
when you have work and you have all these other
Yeah.
stressors involved, you're taking away from the kid who
Mm.
doesn't deserve that, right? Like they don't have a choice.
Right.
And then you're taking away from like what could be a really awesome relationship. And so when we number 2 was like really hard for us, our youngest. And so when we saw that, we were like, okay, let's not make this any harder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, kids are hard, and my For You page recently has been like all these people in their 30s talking about like not having kids, and it's such an interesting train of thought. And I can't remember if we talked about this last time of like, I feel like now it's getting more normalized not to have kids, and I want to have kids, but I don't know if that's genuinely because I want to or because I've been almost like conditioned, if that makes sense. And like, I still do think it is like within my autonomy, like I can choose to or to not have kids. And I think that is what I want. But I also have so many friends that are having kids now. I mean, being at this age, like so many people are just starting that transition. And I know it's really hard too. So it's not like, I mean, of course it's fulfilling and amazing and something that I can't even fathom until I do it. But it's also something that's really hard, and you have to kind of relearn to balance your relationship and yourselves and get to know yourselves. And I mean, you guys have been through so much together too, starting to date when you were so young and then having kids younger and then, getting through all that and creating this life for yourselves. I mean, I'm sure you've been through all kinds of stuff together.
Oh yeah, no one told us like, we went from Ohio, the Midwest, which is very similar to the South, and like
Yes.
you graduate, you find someone, you get married, you have kids,
Mhm.
You stay there.
and you stay there,
yeah.
and you don't leave.
But
My
you have
hometown's the
but you
same.
have family to
Yeah.
help, right?
Yes.
So like the kid part could be easy.
Sure.
Totally. And then we went to Austin, and in Austin, it's the South, and so everyone does the same thing. And then you also become a Christian on top of that. So like you have to be religious, and also so like we're going through all of these different like, what do you call it? Like deaths of our past self to like
Yeah.
figure out what we want to do, what we want to be. I'm DJing at the time, And then we go on this road trip and we're like, maybe we should have kids now. We thought we wanted a big family. Like, we're like, that looks really fun. We came from smallish families. Like, he had one brother the whole time he was in high school until he was 16. And then his mom had his sister.
How many did we want?
Like, we wanted like 4 to 6. And I only had my sister, and I love my sister, but like, I think that looks like such a party. So fun. And my naive 22-year-old brain is not thinking about what that means.
You're like, what does 6 kids mean? Fine.
Totally.
If it's going to be hard, it can't be that much harder.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not thinking about how expensive it is compared to when our parents had kids.
Sure.
And like,
you can't fit 6 kids in a helicopter to go heli skiing.
You know, yeah.
So true.
And so we have one, and it definitely like rocks us, but it was pretty like doable. And so, I mean, I turn around and get pregnant 10 months later with our second. And that was like, that shook us. We're like, okay, no, we're so done. Like, we can't do this. People that have 3, 4, 5, 6 are crazy. You all are a special type of crazy. I admire you. I wish I could do that. I don't have the bandwidth. And so we just had to be like super honest with ourselves. Like, that's just not our journey.
Yeah.
It feels a little selfish for sure, because we're capable. No. Well, if you're like looking at their train of thought is like, they have this gift, they have this ability to do that, but like, we're okay being a little selfish.
I think that's important.
I feel like people.
I don't feel it's even selfish.
You've always had like kind of that mindset, but me growing up, like how I thought about families, it was like, it was only the family, never the self. Right. And I feel like now we're learning that like the self is very important. Right. And if you don't have yourself and you don't have these things that you get excited about, retirement's the most exciting thing. Give me a break. No way.
Right.
So I feel like we're learning a lot. And I feel like the millennials have been figuring this stuff out and have been kind of shifting the thinking that maybe our parents had and what we've learned growing up.
I think if we would have moved here right after college from Ohio to Denver, I'm not sure we would have had kids right away. I think we would have waited until our 30s.
Or not had kids at all.
Or
I can see us falling into that.
Totally. I think we would have been like, oh, we love, what we're doing so much, and that would be year over year. I think we'd eventually have kids. But I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. But our path was having them very young. We were super naive. Horrible place financially. Like, couldn't be worse place financially. And figuring it out. And like, we were like the guinea pigs, I feel like, of all of our friends, because no one was even married hardly yet. Like, we were the first big wedding out of college. So people were very much so still like in the fun post-college years. And we were like all of a sudden getting married and having children.
Yeah.
So much fun.
What the fuck?
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but was that a lonely experience? Like, not having...
I think so.
Kinda. And the people we were hanging out with, we didn't have much in common with.
Nothing.
So like, other than the kids and the, owning a house and sharing that,
Besides your neighbors, we had like one really good friends that we did life with. But like, otherwise, no one. It was super lonely, I think.
Yeah, they were our saving grace.
Yeah.
But like, if I wanted to go mountain bike in Austin, like I had a cousin and, he had a strict job, and I don't know, we didn't have people that we could go to shows with and raise kids with and do the outdoorsy stuff with. So like, we had to get really good about picking pockets of people.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, like, you left your family to go somewhere else, so you didn't have that. And I'm sure being from a place like that, that's the norm, is having like
grandparents to lean
around.
Have the village.
We just we would get really good, and we're still very good at tapping each other in and out, which is probably the biggest pain point of our relationship, because we don't get a lot of time together.
We
just
want to be together.
But we like so value doing our own things as well, and like us getting to be us and not just parents, that like we have to be good at that. So we've always been really good at that. But I will say, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat, like, yes, leave your town and go to a different town. I'm such a big proponent of that. But when you have kids, just know it's really freaking hard without family, and you just have to be prepared. And like, it's worth it every day. I think. I would never change it. But
if you don't choose the hard, I feel like right away you can get so easily trapped in like the comfort of not doing the hard. Right? Not going out and spending 4 hours to get 2 laps in on the mountain, not even.
Yeah.
And you deal with,
Are you talking about doing it with our kids?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Just keep the adventure going.
Oh, well,
Like doing stuff with your kids, and then also like raising kids away from family.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about. Like, choose to leave your family. Like, that's hard to do for a lot of people. And I bet if you have kids in your hometown, you would get really comfortable and complacent with having that help, because man, just the weekends we have our family here is so nice.
So nice. And I feel bad for them, because they come here and they probably want to hang out with us, and we're like, see ya.
Okay,
bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah. We got to go do some like relationship therapy right now. We're going to go hang out.
We're going to get a couple laps in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel that. And I feel like I'm in this weird place of like, I'm dating this guy long distance who is from where we are both from. Like I'm from Alabama, he's from Alabama, and I live in this amazing place and I have this lifestyle now that there's no way that I could backslide back into like who I was in the place that I was then, because my happiness would be so affected and I wouldn't have hobbies and I don't think I would have the same community or like things in common with people anymore. But then also you talk to people about kids and like having kids in your family, and I'm like not planning on having kids in the next like year or two, so I still want to keep living my life, and selfishly I want to keep living my life after I have kids, but I know that it's a lot different and it looks a lot different and it's a lot harder. But having like, I mean, your value systems change of course, but having these things that I know bring me so much happiness, I want to believe that it's possible to like live somewhere that you love, even if it is far from family, and also have kids, and then eventually, even if it's just for 2 laps, like just getting to be outside and,
It's
do
the
that.
best.
Yeah.
And it's worth it with kids. Like you were talking about choose the hard.
Yeah.
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 Now that is.
I guess maybe because I just have so much like surprise in my brain. Like the last 2 years, Rachel's been so adamant, like, let's get the kids out there. Let's do this. Let's
3. Yeah, maybe
3 years. Yeah. Let's struggle to get them comfortable. And now our 6-year-old's doing S turns. I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Is that Aspen or
Yeah,
Aspen?
Aspen.
Yeah.
When you were posting for her birthday, she was cruising on her snowboard in her tutu. I was
And then
like, what the hell?
The just turned 4-year-old was like, I got to catch up to my big sis, and just straight lines it. And I'm like, dude, no, come on.
Yeah.
And she just stops on a dime. And I was like, okay, it was so worth it. So.
That is so
and
cool.
I think like also going back to like our vision or like our personalities, I can always see that vision. Like 3 years ago when we were getting the not even 2-year-old on the mountain on a snowboard for like 30 seconds, but then they're just like making snow angels the rest of the time and snowmen. Like I'm like, oh, this is worth it. Just trust me. Like, hold on. I know there's been a lot of tears and diaper changes and underneath the snowsuit and all sorts of crazy, tiring things, but it's going to be so worth it, Alex. And he's like, I don't fucking think so. I don't know.
I know I've said this to you in private, but I'd like to publicly apologize to Rachel for all of the mean things and anger that I've held for things that I didn't think were worth it. They're so worth it.
Now look at us.
Yeah, I'm definitely the visionary, and he's like the yes man, but he'll be the yes man and still under his breath be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, what are we doing?
Okay, I guess we're doing it.
I was like, the house, we do not have things together. There's nothing, like the finances are a mess and the house is crazy and our relationship is what the heck. And
and
you want to take
let's go camping with the toddlers. Why not?
You want to take them on a road trip? Are you kidding me?
Which is so funny because that's so me. And you are so my boyfriend. Like he's way more realistic and he's always like trying to like talk me down from the clouds. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to stay up here and I'm just going to keep trying to do everything that I want to do and try to
But he
make,
probably
like, the best
adores
life
you
possible.
for that.
Oh,
and like,
totally.
It's just
it's a great
enamored.
balance because like similarly, he grounds me and keeps me like more realistic, but he's also very optimistic and will like try anything, any crazy idea.
Have you had other long-term relationships?
Yes. But this is the first like healthy one.
Oh,
for
good.
sure. I feel like I've dated a lot of like insecure guys, which is super interesting because I'm very independent and very secure. Like I'm not like a jealous type person or anything, and I like to do my own thing. I've always been that way. So I don't know why I was always attracting these like more dependent or like controlling guys. Like I just don't really do well with that. Like if I feel like I'm being controlled, I like rebel more. So
Same.
Yeah. So it was just like never a good thing. And so I don't know why it must have been something I was doing to like continue to attract these guys, and then dating the park rats in Summit County and all that. Like I was,
well, your personality is super like buoyant, I would
Yeah,
say, and so
yeah.
for some people who aren't secure in themselves,
I like that buoyant.
Have you been described as buoyant?
Never in my life, but now that's gonna be my new word. ROI, KPI,
buoyant.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start throwing that in.
Nice.
Yeah, so I don't know, but no, this is definitely my first like relationship where I'm like, oh, like he's the one, like this is it, like it's so easy, because people always talk about that, like, oh, a relationship should be easy, like you should be dating your best friend, it should be supportive, blah blah blah. And I would always try to like mold my past relationships or like situationships to fit that and be like, oh well, it's easy when like this happens or whatever. And yeah, so and I feel like we're both in really good spots where he's 31, I'm 30. We've done so much work on ourselves and we're going to grow so much together. We already have, like, I'm better because of him and he's learned a lot and has become better because of me. And so I know we're going to like go through so much together, but it's cool having the foundation that we do where we can like talk about anything. And like, I feel so safe, where I've never felt so safe that I can like share things without it like getting thrown back in my face later or like that kind of thing. So that's been really cool. You guys will meet him at some point.
Cool.
He's great.
Yeah, excited.
But yes, I mean, over the years, and you said it's really hard, like being married and having kids young and like all the struggles you guys have been through. How do you think your relationship and also like your values have changed? Or maybe like the pillars of things that you're focusing on or that are important or that are non-negotiables for you, like within your relationship and then also like in your day to day? I know that's a loaded
There's so much.
question. Yeah.
I know. I don't think about myself that much.
You were
Jeez.
talking about like things being easy. I feel like
Uh.
our relationship is easy,
Uh-huh.
but then we start bringing life into the mix, like kids or
Mm.
job changes
Work.
or financial stress.
Yeah.
Work. Yeah. Those are the things that would like grow our relationship because they would be really hard and we'd have to get through it together. And I just think those things can either grow you apart or they just grow you each together and individually. And it's been the latter for us for sure. But
Yeah.
this, like when it's just us, like we have a babysitter, it's
Best
just us,
friend.
so fucking easy.
Yeah.
Like before kids, so easy, so
Mhm.
fun and very effortless. But like the life around that and the management of our responsibilities as we're like still feel like kids, but we're very much so living adult lives is
yeah.
the hard part.
Cosplaying being adults and parents.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Come look at my nice house.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like I should be in
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Simulation.
Give me a van instead, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All I want is me and my boyfriend did van life for like a week with like a van.
Oh my gosh,
partnership.
I
I
saw that.
loved
That
The
your
looks so
Bancroft,
fun.
which y'all should reach out to. And all I wanted after, I was like, we have to buy a van. He's like, dude, we don't even have a house. Like, stop. And I'm like, no, I want one right now.
Yeah. See, that's
I love
me.
it.
That's me in the relationship.
Yeah.
But now that I have the house, I'm like, I'll take the van.
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Which I know my 50-year-old self would be like, good job getting the house.
I think
Yeah.
when we're 43 empty nesters, we will be moving into a van or of sorts.
Oh,
something
totally.
like
Yeah.
that.
You have to.
Yeah, the mortgage and the American dream is a sham.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people are like, I would kill for a house. I'd be like,
Yeah.
This
There's
is not
better- there's
financial
better
advice.
things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, asterisk, not financial
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah. From the financial advisor himself. Yeah.
I mean, our pillars have like, it's always been to like, we've always been super intentional with everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we've always, thought like, health is important, whether it's mental and physical. So we've always like gone outside. We've always had either a gym, we just got a Peloton to just like crank out easy workouts. And then it's just to always like be on the same page, which is hard, I feel like a lot, especially when you add that life into there. But
What does that mean to you, like being on the same page? Because obviously you're not going to have the same opinions about everything.
like
Yeah.
no relationship is 50-50,
Mm.
right? We
Totally.
communicate via reels quite a bit. And there was one that was, a relationship should be a 60-40 where each person thinks that they're the 60, right? And that sounds nice, but it's not realistic. It's like, okay, you got to check in and be like, all right, Rachel in this season can't do the kid pickup. She can't do the cleaning around the house or the laundry. And it's like, okay, well, I have bandwidth. I can do that. And then vice versa. And so it's just being there for each other and constantly communicating. Something that we've always been good about is like we physically cannot fall asleep unless we've like hashed out whatever beef we've had with each other. And that could be like a 2 or 3 in the morning kind of deal
Yeah.
where we're just being stubborn a-holes.
I don't know if I've made it to 2 in the morning for a long time. Maybe at like 11 p.m. But
I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah. Usually because now we need sleep. We're like, all right, let's figure this out.
like,
Kind of
let's
deal.
get to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand, and this is not a diss to anyone. I don't understand how people can go days without talking to each other and live in the same house. To us, that's never been possible. Like, that's just not, like, if we're mad, I want to figure it out. And if we're, like, not driving with something, to me, that's what we've always had to do. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've gotten to the extremes where like we've hashed out like, what does divorce look like? Like, what does it look like for us to separate?
Yeah.
And then just playing through that, we're like, wow.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, that sounds
We
like
don't
way
wanna do
more work
that.
than me just like sucking up my pride and
And it
ego.
always ends up like, oh, we would be back together after the kids are gone. Surely, because it's really just,
That's what we joked
they're
about.
the problem, but we love them,
When
but
we-
they're the
When
problem.
we were driving to Crescent Butte, we did that exercise and we were like, and it was just us two. And we were like, chances are we'll meet up again at like 50, still think each other's hot. And then we'll be like, why did we do that? Like, come on. We knew this was going to be the long run.
Temporary divorce.
Literally, kids are very hard. You will have very crazy conversations, but I don't know.
Yeah. And like my advice to people in relationships is like, it can't always be easy. And if it is, something else is wrong kind of deal. So like, you just got to find someone that's willing to go through the shit with you. And then that's willing to go through their own shit.
Totally, that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, rather than like putting it on the other person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just like you see people in relationships where one person's like, this isn't working, like, let's go figure it out, whether that be therapy or need to move or you need to change a job or like change something. And then the person is just so complacent, like, no way. It cannot fathom being with someone who is so like closed-minded or not and complacent. Like, you're not that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And not to diss therapy at all, because we've definitely done it. I've gone to a couple
Yeah.
therapists before
Yeah.
and done some individual. But now that we're like, wiser, we're like,
I don't know
okay,
about that.
well, we at least know things, even though we might not act them out, right? That's wisdom. Well, no, I guess that's knowledge. Wisdom is being able to act it out. Anyway, we're like, before we go spend a couple $100 on a therapist, let's just go through an exercise. What would they tell us?
Yeah.
Are you sleeping well? Are you exercising?
Yeah.
Are
Have you gone on a
eating?
date? Have you gone on a date night in months?
Yeah.
Maybe you should just go eat dinner without kids for 1 hour. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like, let's
You have
try
the
that
tools
first.
in the toolbox.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so usually if we focus on just one of those areas, which as of late it's been sleep
Yeah.
and exercise. Well, I guess exercise too has been big for you. That's been great.
Huge. Yeah. Just starting the new job. I'm like,
her
very
Peloton
attentive.
bike is 3 feet from her desk, so she can just crank out a
Just
couple
pop
exercises.
on at any
I
time.
have
She got a
to.
walking desk too. She is not a corporate drone.
Oh,
She
that's
was
amazing.
not meant
I
to be.
couldn't be either. Yeah, I have to
It's
be
hard.
moving all
I
the
know.
time.
I wish she could like take phone calls while she's skinning up the mountain and like.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when I have like phone calls with my employees or like when I'm catching up with friends, because my lungs have finally, I mean, I'm still like, or like when I'm going up certain pitches, I'm like, okay, you tell me about you, or you tell me like all the issues you're having, and then I just mute myself and I'm just like walking up, like dying, because I have to be doing things while I'm doing things. I cannot sit on the couch and talk on the phone, and I don't have a walking pad, but because we just don't have room in our house, but I would love to get a walking pad at some
I
point.
can walk miles in a day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would do the exact same thing.
And things just
100%.
sit better in my brain. I'm like, oh no, that actually like got planted somewhere in there. That didn't just go into the ether.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I understood what that was.
Yes,
what you
totally.
just said, you know?
Totally. No, I'm the same way. And I remember you talking about that too, like how you parent. Like you love taking the kids outside. Like you're not like a
Mom in motion,
Well,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, a mom in motion. Like let's not like play house sitting on the floor. Like let's go run around.
We have this big house. We have
Yeah.
so much room for activities.
Uh-huh.
Rachel cannot stay in the house.
Really?
If
No.
I ever leave or go on a trip or whatever, she's like, oh, we're over here. We went to the library. We went to this place. We did Chick-fil-A. We did all this other stuff. And I was like, we have 3,500 square feet.
Yeah.
You couldn't play
For
with them on
what?
the ground.
I'll invite like my mom friends over to come and sit and like the kids destroy the house. That I can do that. So if there's company in the house, but like
Yeah.
me and the kids here feels like chill.
Yeah.
Feels like
I
chill.
get that. I think
I
would
love
be
my
the same
home.
way.
I'm grateful for my house.
Yes.
That sounds awful, but like I don't want to sit here all day. Like let's go ride bikes or hike and
And I don't either, but it feels
yeah,
like
you're the
so
same
funny.
way.
it feels like more effort though to get out of the house and do all that stuff
Mhm.
versus me. Maybe I'll smoke a little bowl and then go
Yeah.
play with the damn kids, doing the
Totally.
same thing we've been doing for the past 6 years. But it's so fun. Like
Yeah, I think you definitely.
I'm more of the playful guy though. Like I'll get on the ground and roll with them. Where
Yeah.
you that's not your style.
No,
of parenting.
not here. I'll go do that elsewhere, but I don't want
Yeah.
to just sit here in my house and do it.
A couple years ago, someone sent me a thing that's like, oh, studies show that if you roughhouse with your kids, they're more competent and confident human beings. I think I might have taken that too far. Because now
Oh my God.
our base, we'll show you our basement, but
Uh-huh.
it's just play couches and trampolines, and the kids are like WWE wrestlers down there.
He got padding for like the corners of the walls. Like,
No
what are
way.
you guys
Well, I've split my
doing
head
down
on
here?
walls like that before, so I was like, oh, that's easy.
They're just
Yeah.
like
But
slamming
they'll
around.
jump off the top of the net and just like.
I'm like, what are you guys doing? What's happening?
That is so funny.
I know. and
Yeah.
My mom, who's the helicopter mom, will come down there and is like, I can't watch this. I can't. I gotta. You
Gotta
girls
go
just let me know if you
upstairs.
need something.
Oh, but she got them the trampoline, right?
Yeah, because she's had to adapt to our lifestyle, or else
Yeah.
she gets kicked out. No, we love her so much. Talk about someone adaptable. She's
Yeah.
like, she's broken through so many molds, and now like her biggest crux is that she's not retired and just can't be here all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
How often do you guys get to see your parents?
your
'Cause
mom
you said
is
you're
like
pretty
once
close
a
to them,
month
right?
almost.
No, I would say once every other month.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
once
then-
every other month.
And then maybe my mom's like once a quarter.
Quarterly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then we'll go once a year back home,
Okay.
usually. This year
Never-
it will be
Never again on Christmas.
never again during
There's
the
no need
holidays.
to-
We got
Did
so
it?
sick.
Y'all get like,
Norovirus, flu, strep,
I think
a
I
staph
remember seeing
infection.
that.
Yeah. And we
Oh my
paid
God.
3 times the amount for like airline
I
flights, and
bet.
it's just like
Yeah.
it's
And
not
like
worth
the
it.
airport and stuff is just so chaotic around that time anyway.
It is so stressful,
Yeah.
and we love our families, and they made Christmas so special for our kids, but we
Mm.
can't do it again. We'll just have to visit another time
Yeah.
It
for
sucks.
now until we forget the trauma of this past year, and
Yeah.
then we'll do it again and sign
Oh,
ourselves up for
God.
it. But it was a lot. It was a lot.
Well, I also feel like one of my friends was talking about this. She like took her newborn and then like 3-year-old, I think, to the beach. And like the amount that it takes to do things that like used to not take that long, like all the play stuff and like the seat that they like sit in to eat and stuff and like the diapers and like all the supplies, like this massive like box of shit of just stuff and like all the prep and the planning and the packing, like everything just takes so many more extra steps than it used to.
It's the
Yeah.
physical and mental load. And I
Yeah,
feel like
I'm
all of that
sure.
stuff is like the perfect metaphor for like what a mother and father's brain looks like at all times. Like,
Because there's just so many things at all times.
all the things, all the
Yeah.
time. And so that's why everything feels harder. But I don't know. I was always very willing to do that. And maybe it's because I didn't have parents that did a lot of things with me. They signed me up for activities, which I'm so grateful for. They're like, go to summer camp, go to soccer, go to swimming, go do this.
Cool.
But we never had shared physical activities together that we did. We didn't travel a whole bunch. We went to the beach with my mom a couple times. I went to like Niagara Falls once with my family, but those were like highlights. And I'm like, I want my kids to have that all the time. And I'm willing to deal with packing all this stuff, planning, thinking about all of this so that we can like be bonded and have these experiences together. And I hope that instills like the like resiliency in them to do that too, because it's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, our biggest fear is that they hate mountain biking and snowboarding. And we're just like, oh no, we have nothing in common.
Yeah.
And
well, what do we talk about now?
yeah, the grandparents are like, should we
It's
sign up?
awkward.
The grandparents are like, should we sign them up for like, gymnastics or
Yeah.
ballet? And I was like, honestly, I don't want to open that door.
Yeah.
But
We'll do whatever they want.
I
yeah.
get that we have to like, it's about them, right?
Sure.
And-
but there's
and-
also like an aspect of like, I've thought about that because I was a horrible kid. Like my family wanted to be a ski family. They wanted to be a camping family. I bitched so hard. I was the oldest that like my parents were like scared of me. Like we went skiing once growing up in North Carolina, never went again. My favorite camping trip when I was little was when it got rained out and we stayed at this like weird ass, like trashy Sigs Inside hotel with like an indoor pool and like all the rooms were facing it. And I was obsessed. And my parents were like, this is the worst day of my life. And I loved it. So like I was never into that kind of thing. So I think about that and I talked to Patrick about that too. Like, how can we like trick our kids into loving like camping and hiking and like all of these
You
things?
do it before they have thoughts.
Yes, no, literally. Like you just take them immediately because that's my thought too. Yes,
You
like
take them with the pack and play in the tents and your sound machine and all
And your neighbors hate you because you've got a crying baby at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
yeah.
You put your kids on skis and snowboards before they can walk,
Yeah.
which is
Before they
ridiculous.
before they can
Insane.
even think.
Yeah.
Wait, so are your parents mocking you now because of your lifestyle?
200%. They're like pissed. They're like, what the fuck? You're living our dream. Like my mom is like, I'm hoping that if I have kids like in the next like 5 years that they'll move to Colorado because they are obsessed with Colorado and like love all the outdoors things. My dad like does portions of the Appalachian Trail with his friend.
Oh my gosh.
My
A
mom grew
dream.
up skiing and she grew up in New York City and New Jersey and like went to Syracuse and like did all that and worked at Yosemite National Park. That's where my parents met. Like they are so insanely outdoorsy and they're like, you're living in a ski town, you bitch. Like, are you kidding?
How much we had to deal with you
Oh my
throwing
God.
fits.
They
and-
wanted to be a ski family so bad. They were like, that we planned on being a ski family, but you made it impossible for us and just made it too hard. So we just gave up. And now you ski every single day. It's just, it's so ironic. But my mom thinks that when I have kids that like I'll get the karma.
You'll get the karma.
And I really don't
So
want
take our
it.
advice. Take
I
our
don't want it.
advice.
I want karma
We have,
elsewhere.
we have a hard older child. I was the oldest too.
Yeah.
They're just
She's-
difficult, you know?
Yeah.
But she's not like hard when it comes to doing fun things. She's just hard when it comes to like everyday life.
Yeah.
She's just hard with most.
She's just
Yes.
like, I think she's on the spectrum a little bit.
Yeah.
And she's definitely like just super
My
picky.
parents thought the same thing about me. Yeah.
But I think people that are like that way become the most like beautiful souls. They
Totally.
do the most incredible things. So like she's got a great future. But it's just like, dude, are we really fighting about clothes again?
yeah.
And then her little sister comes in and is just like, I'm happy to do whatever you want. And we're like, oh gosh.
That was how my brother was.
Yeah.
Like he was so perfect and I was horrible.
And your
horrible,
brother
horrible.
comes to visit you. He's close, right?
We're super close. He travels a ton. He's 27. He just moved to New York and just took like a year and a half to travel the world. So he's like always on the go. So I feel like right now he's still in that like just go, 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 gets invited to everywhere, is living in New York, is obsessed with it. And my grandparents live like right outside of New York. So he like goes and sees them a lot. So he hasn't visited in probably like a year, but we see each other a good bit. We're
Wait,
very, very
You're
close.
Jewish and you were selling jewelry. You were just going after the mold.
Oh, totally. I mean, I had to do what I had to do. Exactly. Well, it's funny because my dad's not Jewish. He's Protestant. He's from Northern Ireland. And then my mom is, like New York, New Jersey. And so us ending up in Alabama was like the funniest thing
That is hilarious.
ever. Like so random.
Are there many Jewish people down in Alabama? No
So-
redneck?
Well, what's funny is, so I went to Jewish summer camp, like starting in middle school, because my mom, being in the Northeast, like grew up going to summer camp and stuff. And it was like a very like cultural thing for her. So she really wanted me to do it because I didn't really have any Jewish friends growing up. And it never bothered me. I mean, I never got like bullied or anything, which like some kids did where I was from, but we went to like Sunday school and I had a bat mitzvah. My mom said it was optional. And then I said I didn't want one. And then she said, well, it's not optional. You have to have one.
Just
and I was
kidding.
Like, okay.
Psych.
And everyone thought it was my birthday party because they had no fucking clue what a bat mitzvah was.
So fun.
But yeah, I mean, going to Jewish summer camp and all that was such like a cool community, like cultural experience for me. But I'm also thankful because a lot of my friends at summer camp from like Memphis or Nashville or other places in the South with like bigger Jewish communities were only allowed to go to like a college that had like a Jewish sorority and had like a big Jewish presence. And so then all of their friends were only Jewish, which is totally fine. But to me, that's like, I see that and I love my camp friends and my Jewish friends, but like I've never had that experience. So I like having friends all over the map. And like my dad's not Jewish. Like I never really wanted to marry a Jewish guy because I was like, I don't need another helicopter Jewish mom. I already have one. I don't need two. And I'm not super religious. So I was like, it just never really jives. So I'm kind of thankful that I had that upbringing versus like being raised in New York and just being around like all other Jewish people like all the time. I don't know. I liked it.
When did you pivot into clothing from jewelry?
Like 3 years ago. So I did jewelry for a really long time.
Did you
And,
just get tired of making jewelry or?
yeah, it was actually during like right after my ACL that I made the switch. I just like I loved jewelry for so long and I'm very creative naturally. So that was really fun for me. It was like an outlet and I loved the creating aspect. And then I got to a point where I was like creating in bulk, like cost efficiency to like make money and make better margins and like make a ton of things instead of like making really cool, unique pieces that I was like obsessed with. So once I felt that shift, and I mean, it took a while, but once I kind of like caught up to that of like not really being inspired by it anymore, I was falling in love with skiing at the same time. And I was like, okay, well, how can I make like skiing like part of my job? Like, how can I like monetize this so I can like be outside all the time?
Monetize
and then
your life.
I had the idea of
Yes,
Rebellious
that's
Ski
so
Club.
smart. Nice.
Which is, but it's like, it's funny because my brain wanders to all these things. And I tell people all the time, like with their own businesses, and y'all could probably relate to this too, like to pay attention to your thoughts, like notice your thoughts, because there's so many things that you think about. Like if you're sitting on the couch or you're drinking a cup of coffee and you're like, oh, I wish like this didn't have this, or that this was different, or that this is more accessible, or that this sweater was more comfortable than it is. And if you tap into that, there's so many ways to like create something and like solve a problem. And if you're having that thought, other people probably are too. And so like with the random businesses that I've started or like the ideas that I've had within Raw and Rebellious like over the years has just been like me having a random shower thought and then like
acting on it.
Yeah, kind of like ruminating on it a little bit more.
Those are the best.
Which is interesting. And you guys are both entrepreneurs too,
Totally.
so you get it. And you started your own business kind of recently, right? Because you were
3 years ago.
Because you were a corporate man.
Yeah.
Before that?
Kinda. I
Yeah.
thought I wanted to be a corporate man.
Uh-huh.
And then I got a taste of the not corporate side of things.
And you're like, this is pretty cool.
And I was like, I don't have to answer to somebody.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to jump through hoops to get what I want. In Cincinnati, I was in the honors business program and there was a cool program. Like there's so many Fortune 500 companies in Cincinnati and they're tapping into that school. And so I think I had 6 or 7 different internships before I graduated working for like, the corporate world. And I was like, oh, I could do this. I could see myself being at the very top. 40 hours a week, no problem.
Yeah,
kids, no problem. Family down the street, no problem.
And I was like,
And then meet Rachel. And she's like, you don't have to do that.
She's like, nope.
And I was
let's
like,
go.
oh, my mom is not gonna like you. I knew it from the day I met you. That's good. I always the rebellious thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I have that because of my mom's like attachment to not let me go.
Sure.
It was just like a natural thing. Yeah.
I have to get away.
But now that I'm a parent, I like hug her and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Seriously.
I'm so sorry I ever did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like the moment the moment Aspen was like put on my chest, I was like, wow, my parents, like, I need to call them.
Yeah.
I need to apologize for everything.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
Come help me, please.
I mean, I think even as an adult, like, without having kids, my relationship with my parents has changed so much, like for the better. Like you see them as humans and you start like understanding them more and like giving them space to be humans instead of judging them harshly or like thinking they have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And when you become a parent, you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Totally.
My parents didn't know what the fuck they're doing. Everyone's just kind of like doing their best. And
You just have so
trying
much
it out.
more empathy for them than you do. You can't fathom that as a child.
Oh my
You
God,
can't
no.
fathom that as a young adult. And then it just
No.
gets, I don't know.
Not that mine were authoritarian, but let's say I like saw them as not the authority and more of just like they're just parents.
Yeah.
We're just humans together, all
Yeah.
just figuring it out, and you are just figuring it out just like I am.
That's
And
when I felt like I could really just like open up and be like, oh, I've got so many things I want to say.
Yeah, and like just be more yourself.
I don't want to be shy around you or not, whatever.
No, totally. It's a really cool experience. And then you get to take everything, and I think that's what every generation does. You take everything you loved that your parents did, and then everything that you didn't love that you want to try to combat, and you bring that into your kids, and then your kids do the same thing, you know? Everyone just gets better and better.
I feel like I combat the extra, like the other way too much sometimes. I'm sure you feel that. For me,
that's
but
why
like
that's why I ground you.
we like overparent the other direction, you know, and so then
Oh,
it's just like
interesting.
I'm sure it just balances out with each generation. Like our kids are gonna be like, God, our parents always wanted to talk about their fucking feelings.
Yeah.
Like
or my dad was
I
always
just don't
around.
want to talk right now, you know.
We joke like, what are our kids' therapy sessions going to look like? We're like, well, mom and dad, you know, we're always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. They always wanted to go do things.
I know.
Yeah.
They thought living in the mountains was freaking sick. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, little did they know.
It's so funny. I remember I used to always get so mad at my mom because she would always tell my dad everything. And I was like, just don't tell him this. And she's like, I have to. I tell your dad everything. And I was like, fuck you. Like, why? Like, just keep a secret, grow up. And now I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
Like,
your best friend.
yeah, totally.
I tell my
Like,
best friend everything.
Oh, it's not just mom and dad separately. Like, you guys are actually married and you love each other. Like, got it. Like,
Yes.
This makes sense.
With us getting married and like finding each other early on, that was like a big wake up call for the people that were close to me. They were like, we can't tell you secrets anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you can, but Rachel hears them.
Yeah, but I will also tell Rachel, but she won't tell anyone.
Oh,
No,
I'm
no,
a
no,
secret
no,
keeper.
no, no.
No, no.
So it got to the point where I was like, listen, you can tell me this, but you might not want to
Yeah.
because once it's in my ear, it goes to her ear. Yeah.
I've definitely accidentally like told people someone was pregnant, totally on accident. Like
Funny.
was like hiking and I was pregnant in the back and I'm like, oh, you guys are just leaving the pregnant woman back here. And I was like, oh, pregnant girl.
Yeah.
Just the one. Just the one.
woman. I am
Yeah.
woman.
I've botched secrets big time.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Big mouth. It is so
We're
We're just
unintentional.
we're oversharers.
Yeah.
That's like kind of our,
For
but I think
sure.
people love that.
I'm the same way. And I mean, I think I don't really take the internet very seriously. Like the whole like things are there forever. I'm like, that's fine. Like I think we're
Totally.
all over that now.
Absolutely.
Like, it's okay.
Absolutely.
I love breaking people's barriers down.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't want to talk about this?
Yeah.
I'm going to make you feel so comfortable
Here we
around
go.
me. We're going to talk about it.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I'm good at keeping secrets, and now I tell Patrick everything. But like, so many people trust me with things. And Sunday Scaries too. I'm like, you do realize I see your wedding photo while you're telling me you're fucking your boss, and that you're cheating on your husband or
Oh my
whatever. Like,
gosh.
you just had a threesome. Like, I see everything. I know your first and last name. Like, I
Yeah.
can see your picture, and people just tell me the most absurd things. I'm like, this is crazy.
But they need someone to vent to.
They
So like
do.
once
They
you
do.
break some like breaking someone down sounds terrible, but like once you get past
Totally.
that barrier, like I feel like people love to be able to share what's on
They
their mind.
do. Well,
And
and
you
it
didn't have
makes
to pay
other
for
people
it.
feel closer to you. Like, it makes other people feel more like safe and close. Like, I appreciate that. Like, I think that's cool.
Like the friends that we have now, we've definitely gone through the ringer with like phasing people
Oh.
out because they either don't match our lifestyle or they think that we're crazy or whatever else. But the people we have now are like the closest people.
Yeah, like
we've
surface
ever
level
had.
conversations do not exist.
really
Chosen
love that.
family through
Yeah.
and through. And it's like they
Yeah.
would, even though we might not talk for 3-4 months, like they would kill somebody for you kind of deal. And it's like
I
nice.
love that.
And I feel like every conversation with them is like a therapy session. We
Yes.
always like, what's going on in your relationship?
Yeah.
Like we have like,
Your book club where you guys don't actually read books.
Yeah. Well, duh. No one reads books at book club. Are you kidding?
I was like, Rachel, I haven't seen you crack a page or listen to anything in 2 months. What do you mean?
You're like, it's not about that.
you're outing the book club.
well, it's just don't call it book club then.
We have to.
But also, like, as we get older, I mean, your time is so much more valuable. And like, I mean, I think we were talking about selfishness earlier. I think that is such an amazing quality. It gets a bad rap, but like, you have to be selfish with your time, with yourself, you know, to a degree, and figure out too, like, your pillars of what you need as far as like health, like you said, and mental health, and like getting outside, and what the most important things are, so you can rearrange your life to continue to meet those things so that you're okay to then move through life with your partner and with your kids and your friends and your family and everyone else. Like, you kind of have to start from the beginning. And I mean, as we get older, yeah, we just have less time.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be in control of yourself, right? And
Yeah.
if you're not focusing on yourself, which I think is the definition of being selfish, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way
Right.
unless you go to therapy
Yeah.
and then they tell you, well, why don't you go do something for yourself?
Yeah. and
Get,
you're
get
like,
in touch.
"What?"
Like go touch grass. Be in
Yes.
touch with yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally.
yeah.
Not the turf.
And
touch the real
also
grass.
like
Yes.
you just don't know like if tomorrow's going to be here, that sounds so silly, but like the health scare last year, like we had you used to say that and then you do actually deal with the health scare, like a near death experience. And then you're like, holy shit, like I might not see 40, I might not even see 30. Like you just don't know. You never
know. Puts it all
know.
in perspective. Yeah. And I'd love to talk about that a little bit because that all happened after we spoke.
Yeah.
Last, and it has been a whirlwind.
June of last year. Everything was going really well. We like joke and try not to say like things are going well, right? We'll just like look at each other.
Don't say that.
And don't ever say that.
Let's appreciate it, but don't say it.
Yeah. It's like don't ever say your kids start sleeping through the night because they'll stop. But we were just like things were going really well, and out of nowhere,
we were in Steamboat.
Before that.
Okay.
I started to get a terrible migraine like on a Monday. It was the Monday after Father's Day, and I have dealt with migraines previously, came off of birth control because my birth control was causing the migraines. That's when I got pregnant. And I hadn't had one since. And this was like splitting migraine, like came on so strong and bad. Like I was like in bed, horizontal, not okay, couldn't deal with light. If you have migraines, you know what I mean? So I called my primary care physician and she was like, okay, I'll give you a migraine emergency drug. Like that should work. And I've never taken one before, but that's how desperate I was. I don't really love taking medicine, but I really wanted to go to this job in Steamboat. And so I took that, it didn't work. She prescribed me a different one. I took that one and it worked a little bit, and it was enough for me to get packed up for Steamboat and for us all to go. Me and the girls and Alex were all going there to meet friends for the week, and I was going to photograph this property for a property management group. And I take it. It's just enough to take the edge off. I have a light headache. So this is now, we're on Thursday. My migraine started Sunday evening, Monday. And we get there and then night settles in on Thursday or Friday. I don't remember which day it was. And I was not okay. I was like, hey, this medicine keeps wearing off and it's not working. Could you take me to the emergency room? I need to get like an IV bag for my migraine, which I've done before. So he takes me in. I get there. They ask me all the historical questions about my migraines. I answer them. I'm not on birth control anymore either. I would never go back on it after dealing with what I dealt with the migraine. So that wasn't a risk. And they're like, listen, we could do a CT scan. How do you feel about that? And I just said, thank you for asking my opinion. I don't have great health insurance. I would like to not do it if you don't think it's necessary. Let's try the IV meds first. And then if this is still really if this is bad, I'll come back in. And he's like, I feel comfortable with that plan. The emergency care doctor there was amazing. And he gave me an IV bag. I felt fine. It started to wear off the next day and immediately back into that migraine spiral. And then that night I started to have impending doom, I couldn't sleep. My body wouldn't let me sleep. I needed to pace, but I also couldn't walk because I was not coordinated. I was in so much pain. Couldn't really speak. Kept going to the bathroom. I lost my bowels and I couldn't stop peeing. Couldn't feel the left side of my body.
And this all happened this night.
This night. It was Friday or Saturday night. I don't remember which day it was.
Saturday, I think.
Yeah. It was the second night we were in Steamboat.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to go to the emergency room and you can't drop me off this time. You actually have to come with me. Alex, I might die tonight.
Yeah,
and so
I'm freaking out.
And we give the baby monitor friends who are staying with us, thank goodness. I kissed my kids goodbye because I'm I really do feel like I'm going to die, which is crazy. I've never felt that impending doom feeling, but it is so real. And if you've experienced it, it's the craziest thing. Get to the emergency room. They get me in right away, get a CT scan. And the doctor comes back in super somber, very calm, but you could tell he was like, what the fuck? He's like, you tore an artery in your neck? Were you doing anything? Have you been to the chiropractor? Do you have any bad crashes? These are all things that could have happened in the past few weeks, but didn't. And I never get my neck cracked from the chiropractor. That freaks me out. And I've crashed on my bike many a times, but not even in the last month. And I'm like, no, nothing. He's like, okay, well, we're calling this a spontaneous rupture. You might be having a stroke right now. We need to get you to the ER in Denver because we don't have someone here to run the MRI machine. And if you need a stent in your artery, you have to be where specialists can do that. We can't do that here in Steamboat. So we called the chopper for you. And we're helicoptering you to Denver.
I think I pooped my pants. When that happened, I'm pretty sure I pooped my pants a little bit.
Oh my God.
And Alex starts tearing up, and I don't see him cry often. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm just, in La La Land. Is this real?
Yeah.
And so they immediately put heparin, which is a blood thinner, through my IV. And he's like, do you have any questions? I'm like, I'm just really scared of flying. Could you just give me some drugs for this flight?
Yeah.
I don't have any questions right now. I don't even know what's going on. So they drug me up. Take an ambulance to get to the helicopter. They helicopter me here.
They took
Did you ride with her?
No, they
Okay.
took a picture of her as she's getting on the helicopter,
Uh-huh.
and you would think
they
that
took my phone from me, and they're like, "You want a picture?"
you
And I
could
was like,
you would think she was going heli skiing with how happy she looked.
Yeah, I was drugged up. I was like, "We're doing it."
So funny. Like, do you want a photo?
Yeah, we're doing it. Apparently, I took a nap on the helicopter. I don't really remember much.
Yeah.
And we get there. My best friend from college actually lives here in Denver. She's another like just amazing person. I could tell all the stories about her, but she lives across the street actually, and she met me there. Alex goes back to the Airbnb in SEMO, packs up all of her stuff,
No
and drives
sleep.
back.
Zero
No
sleep.
Oh.
with both of our kids. So my friend met me in Denver while he's getting back here. His mom hops on a plane.
Oh, I called my mom crying. I was like,
Yeah.
I need your help now. Like,
Yeah.
please. And that's what I love about her. She would just do anything.
Show up.
Yeah. And she did.
Mm.
And it was so good.
I was so thankful. They do an MRI. I'm not having a stroke, but I had many strokes. And so I was just having recurring, like they call them TMIs, temporary, or TMIs, not TMI. Temporary. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah. TMI is the acronym.
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know. Temporary block. I don't know. But
Not
I was
doctors.
having mini strokes, temporary blockages, but the clot wasn't sticking and totally blocking to have a full on stroke. And the blood thinner was helping that. So then I would be having them less and less. They didn't need to stent my artery. I was fine. But they kind of just sent me on my way very negligently. And they're like, you need to follow up with the neurovascular specialist. And
Just
here's
sent
the
you home?
number. And sent me
Sent her
home.
home.
Sent me home with like little to no information about what to do because it's a very rare thing. Period. And they are like, they don't know. So
I was
going
gonna say, it sounds like they have no clue what they're talking about.
no, and
so
I think
they're
it's
just
like 4 in 100,000 people per year,
Oh my
like every
God.
4 per 100,000 people per year. This happens too, so
Mm.
it's very rare. Come home, I'm drugged up. I'm still in so much pain, like so much pain. They give me gabapentin, which is like a nerve drug. They put me on a blood thinner, a blood pressure medication, ibuprofen, or no ibuprofen, something else. And I'm just like horizontal for 3 weeks. Finally see the neurovascular specialist, and they're like, yeah, this is really weird. We don't see people your age tear arteries unless there's like a car accident or
Painting ceiling.
painting stands and looking up for a long period of time or something. Like, this is odd. You can expect for this either you have a high grade tear, which means over 70% of your artery is blocked because your artery tore inward. So you could expect this to maybe never be fully healed, and you could be on blood thinners for life or a low dose aspirin for life. It could take you 9 months to heal. We don't really know, but that's what you should expect. And in this meantime, you can't lift more than 5 pounds. You can walk, but don't get out of breath. You need to stay in the green zone, essentially. You don't get on a bike because if you hit your head, you need to come to the ER because you could have a brain bleed because you're on blood thinners.
Oh my
And
God.
to me, I'm just sitting there like, so the rest of my life,
It's like a
if-
jail
I
sentence.
just built this
Totally.
life around doing all those things you told me I can't do.
yeah, like what
So
am I
shocking,
even
right?
without? What am I even? Oh yeah, that fell. Like what am I even without all the
That's
things I
worse.
love to do?
Yeah.
And so I just had, a meltdown about all of that. And for a month I was in pain. So I kind of just slept that month. He took over like full responsibilities, everything. Going back to the 50-50 in a relationship, it was 100 and 0. I was 100 on myself, just trying to heal. And he was like 100 doing our whole life, managing everything. And our kids didn't really understand what was going on. I didn't know what the outcomes would be. And then
And you don't really know what's going on either. So you're like,
No.
I don't know what to say.
it's such a weird like diagnosis. You don't
Yeah.
know what's going to happen.
I'm freaking out this whole time thinking
Yeah,
that like
sure.
she'll stroke at any moment.
Totally. And I had the
Big
risk of
deal.
stroking for like another 3 weeks. Like they're like, don't cough, don't throw up, don't sneeze, like just chill.
oh my God.
I'm like, okay. So it's very different. I had an ACL, MCL, meniscus recovery, and that itself is challenging if you're an active person because you temporarily can't do all those things, but that there's an end goal in sight.
Yeah.
And you also know that life is going to return to normal. I didn't know that. He didn't know that. We didn't know what our life would look like with our kids, and
Are we moving back to Cincinnati?
yeah, and it was also like a wake up call. We have no help here. We have our friends who are all like willing to help, but just
It's different.
it's different.
And having
Totally
family.
different. Yeah. And then I go in for I get off of my pain medications the second month, and I start having like seizures and like little mini seizures from getting off this pain medication too fast and
Oh my
withdrawal.
God. Yeah, we had the ambulance come to the house
Yeah.
at like midnight, and we were just
Yeah. So that was scary. So
Oh
like
my
all these sorts of like
God.
medical things happening, and I don't take medicine. So this is I'm very
Yeah.
like sensitive.
And like all at the same time.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah. And then they did another CT scan when I went to the ER. I'm hoping to see some healing. They saw nothing. Like it looked the exact same. So that was month 2. And I'm like, okay, I'm in this for the long haul. I need to start figuring out like ways to like cope with this. And I would go on like gentle walks. We went camping one time, which he had to do all the work because I couldn't even like put the tent together. I'm not allowed to lift like more than 5
Yeah.
pounds. And he was just being so helpful. And I was like trying to like feel better about it. And then come month 3, I started to like feel that optimism like shift. I'm like, no, this is actually like real optimism, not fake optimism.
Yeah.
I'm feeling
You're
better.
coursing, yeah.
And so I was like, maybe my body's healing. I'm just going to tell myself that. And sure enough, after 3 months, I went in for my follow-up CT scan, the official one with like the contrast, and I was fully healed, which is crazy. And like I get chills thinking about that.
The doctor was crying. Like,
Yeah, the doctor was like all teared up. So I come back home and I have my call with her, like Google Meets call. And because I didn't want to drive all the way back to the hospital, and she answers the phone, she's all teared up. I'm like, oh my God. And
is it bad?
it's, yeah, like that's not good news. And she's like, you're fully healed. I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't get to deliver this news this soon, really, like ever. And this is just
Oh my
really,
God.
I'm so happy for you. And you can stop taking your blood thinners right now if you want. And let's wean you off this medication. And you can just go back to living your life, Rachel. I was like, whoa, like that was wild.
That's amazing.
Totally.
But so fucking scary.
Yeah. And 3 months is a blink of an eye in the grand scheme of things. But when you're
Sure.
sitting there every day wondering if it's going
Feels
to be
like
the rest of your
forever.
life and you can't do anything during those 3 months, that is
Yeah.
like heart wrenching on you and all the people around you. It was hard
Just
on
everything,
kids,
just
it was
everything
hard
we
on
built,
you.
which I know
Yeah.
life has like hiccups, right? And speed bumps
Sure.
and things happen. Family gets sick. You got to pivot. But we were not ready to pivot. We were like, oh, things are going so
You were
well.
just settling
Yeah,
in. Well,
I'm
yeah,
30.
like you
I'm not
said.
even 30. I was 29. Like,
yeah.
what do you mean my artery's torn? What do you mean I'm like almost about to stroke out? Like,
Totally.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. So you could go back to living your life, and then what'd you do?
Yeah.
You went and lived your
I went
life.
with my life and I flipped over the handlebars and separated,
Separated
my shoulder.
your shoulder.
But yeah.
Not even 3 weeks later. And I was like, are
It
you-
was like 5 weeks later, but yes.
yeah, whatever. At least I was still in the mode of like taking care of everything.
I was such a trooper. I was
You did
fine. I
great.
shuttled
Well,
you
because
guys.
you were so thankful that there was just a shoulder separation. and
Yes,
Yeah.
at that
You could
point.
live.
Yeah, I'm
You're
like,
like,
hey,
this is
this will be
fine.
better in 3 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
I can go back.
She
to
took
doing
me and
it.
all my buddies like shuttle laps at this new trail in Idaho
Uh-huh.
Springs, which was so fun. And it was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
So that does put into perspective. Like,
I'm
even this
sure.
young, you don't know if you're going to make it to 40. And I've always lived my life that way. And it sounds reckless and silly, but like,
No.
the next day is totally not guaranteed. And you're only here once. Like, just go do all the things that you've ever wanted to do. If you want to move to Europe for a year, just do it.
There's a way to do it responsibly though.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Everybody listening,
Bring it
don't
back to-
don't drain your bank accounts to do these things. Make a plan, save up some cash.
Find someone who does this for you.
Yeah.
And then
Just
you can
just
like-
talk
just
to
like
somebody
relax.
who you can work this out with, because I have seen people just like they'll max out their credit cards, go YOLO, and then they come back and they're 40 and they have all this debt
And they're like,
and they have
what do I
nothing
do
to show
now?
for it
Yeah.
except for great experiences, and it's like
Well,
that's awesome.
They have something to show for it, but yeah.
They have photos and videos, but they have no money. So anyway, that's what I help people
So
do.
how is that for you? I mean,
You were like, I'm going to be a single dad.
Yeah.
She's going to die.
Definitely played that one out. All the insurance money, I was kind of thinking how I was going to spend that.
yeah,
Definitely getting rid
Totally.
of this house, not keeping this thing.
yeah, this thing.
New cars.
Where are you going to move?
New bike. We would definitely continue on the mountain adventure. I wouldn't let your memory go to waste. And now that I'm
Okay.
bought into it and I want the kids to experience that, but I would probably retire my mom and my dad
Mm.
and move them with us and just
Well,
say,
there
look,
you go.
you know, it's just not what you asked for.
Yeah.
I know you've got other kids, but
Sorry, my
This
wife
is what we're
died.
doing.
yeah,
Yeah,
This is now your path.
You're on my paycheck now.
Yeah.
I think they'd be open to it.
Yeah.
Or at least working out some sort of like, you know, arrangement between all the grandparents. Because we're very fortunate that both grandparents are still alive. Or
Totally.
both of our parents are still alive and they're together. And I know that's already, you know, statistically,
Rare.
yeah. So,
I mean that you guys both have great relationships with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
unique
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Rachel tore ACL right before we got married, right? And then after that, what was it? It was
Total blowout. ACL, MCL, meniscus 6 weeks before
yeah,
the
but then
wedding.
what was the year after that? Was it pregnancy?
Mhm.
Okay,
9
then
months later.
pregnancy, then breastfeeding, then pregnancy again, then breastfeeding, and then something else happened. Oh, your nose.
Mhm.
You had surgery on your nose, and then this. So like over the last 7-8 years, I've been taking care of this girl.
Yeah.
I have been straight up
Have you
like,
seen that trend on Instagram? It's like a reel and it's like, I'm Rachel. I don't need anybody. I blah, blah, blah. And then it's a guy and it's like, I'm anybody. I do everything. I make sure that she is fed. I pay our taxes.
yeah. Rachel, you have a headache. Have you drank your water
Yes.
yet?
Literally.
He He's like the inner voice that I don't have to like take care of all the things. I don't know.
So funny.
And I won't say that I was great at taking care of her the first few times. Like I'm pretty sure
No.
I learned
Horrid.
I learned who I really was
Uh-huh.
when you have to take care of somebody else.
Uh-huh.
You tore your ACL. Did
Yeah.
you have a little ice bucket where you like had a wrap on your knee?
Yeah.
You don't have to make me feel bad. I already know what
It's
happened.
funny.
What happened?
Okay,
I would
well, I'm
just be
glad.
like, Alex, I really need like, can you fill up my ice bucket? I can't get up. And he would like throw a fit. Like throw a
She
fit.
interrupted my Fortnite. Are you kidding me?
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Like it was so bad. We were children, okay, when we got married.
Small
Absolute
children.
No, totally.
Living in like a high rise in downtown Austin, just like partying until like 5, 6 a.m.
I felt
literally.
invincible, and this girl was not apparently.
Oh yeah. So
Well, and it was so
Goodness,
she
I
tears the
didn't
ACL
realize
right
that.
before we get
Thank
married.
God the ACL before the baby though, because or was it after?
it was before.
It was right before we
Because
got
then
married.
maybe he learned then before.
He did.
Okay, good.
Learned.
Yes. Every
Didn't-
time got better.
Didn't get perfect, right? Yeah, but just kind of built on
Yeah,
that.
that's all we gotta do. Is get
And then
over
this
that.
last time when she did tear her neck, she was like, "Hey, on top of the impending doom that I'm feeling right now, I just want to know, or I want you to know that like I'm scared of putting this on you again because of like things in the past. Like I don't want to feel this way and feel bad because this isn't
And
my
feel
fault."
guilty, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Good for you for saying that though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like,
coming back to
"Oh,
communication.
We
I'm
tell each
sorry.
other everything. I don't know. We always are talking about
I never want. It's my the way I was brought up, but like I never want people to think ill of me. And sometimes I take her for granted because we're just there all the time together. And so when she said that, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to be that person that doesn't make you feel that way. So then I like made a big effort for this round of the character. No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I really
I'm sure
hope
this
so.
year has something in store. She's
Yeah, I mean, I already got shingles this year. Let's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
talk about that, but yeah.
yeah. She got an electric bike too, so that's probably gonna throw some concussions our way. We'll see.
Jesus Christ.
But anyway, I made it like a mission to like really do well, and I thought I did a pretty good job this time.
He did amazing. It was perfect. It was never an issue even like one time.
That's amazing.
And like that is like so selfless. Like I don't even know if I
Totally.
have that caretaking ability. I mean, I think women have it more naturally, but like that was a huge burden to take on. And also like he doesn't know what's happening to his life and
Yeah.
Totally.
me as his best friend.
I was like, we
and-
just did all this work to just have it end on a spontaneous combustion. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Totally.
So he was like the best. So big improvements from 8 years ago when I had to beg him to fill up my ice bucket for my knee to now.
It's tough.
And like
It's a tough world out there.
it
Yeah,
took
totally.
two
That sounds really
kids
hard.
and 2 rounds of breastfeeding and a concussion and surgery and all
That's
that.
Oh, you had the
Frustrating.
concussion. That's right. I
Yeah, I
forgot
had
about
I had a concussion that took me out for like 5 weeks.
I cannot wait to get hurt. I am so
You
excited.
better knock on wood.
I think this year I'm gonna
Y'all
take.
do way too
I'm
much
gonna take.
shit.
I'm gonna take some big risks this year. I think you're hearing it here first.
some big risk.
The drop at Virginia Canyon is mine.
Oh my gosh.
No,
You
but
just start launching yourself off of things. Just
We have bad insurance.
Whatever
We really
happens,
like
happens.
can't afford it.
Yeah.
Like
no, we got disability now, and the
Oh
life
my
insurance will
gosh.
cover a lot. And-
I took care of you for a day after your vasectomy. Like one
yeah,
day.
and then day 2, she said, "You're done. Let's go." And I was like, "What the fuck? Are you
Yeah,
kidding
let's
me?
go for her
I've
bike
still
ride.
got. I've still
You're
got.
like,
I've still got peas on my nads, man.
yeah.
And I did this for you.
yeah.
No, I did it for
For
myself.
us.
It was
Yeah,
for myself.
For
That was
us.
selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first time taking Valium, and that was crazy.
Oh my
How's
gosh.
that?
They like give it to you.
They gave it to me. She drops me off.
He can't
I'm
even
s-
walk in the building.
I mean,
I just
I-
dropped him off like his first day of school.
I
Like,
definitely-
bye, honey.
I definitely needed a wheelchair. But I get in that office, and I just remember like looking at my phone, and the next thing I remember, phone's on the ground, and I was like, "Oh, did anybody see that?"
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there, and the doctor's talking to you, and I was like, "What's that smell?" And he's like, "That's your scrotum." And I was like, "Oh,
Like
it's
burning.
burning? Are you kidding me?"
Human flesh burning.
Oh.
So that was weird. His
Yeah,
bedside manner,
crazy.
not great.
Not great.
No, not great. Did not make me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
No.
But it was over in like, a minute. and-
20 minutes later, he walked out, just like high as a kite. And yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was easy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I got one day of recovery on that one.
Yeah. You
My
couldn't
buddy-
milk it any longer?
Yeah, my childhood best friend, he moved here too, which is
Mhm.
awesome. He actually
Yeah.
works at the vet clinic across the street,
Oh, cool.
and he brings over an Xbox. I sold my Xbox because of
Oh.
my Fortniting.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. You're
I realized
race
that was
addiction.
that was getting in the way of me being a good family man.
Yeah.
You sold it before you became a dad?
No, because
Was
remember
that-
during COVID, I was still gaming out.
I don't remember. I
I
thought
was-
you did.
I
don't
was running a
remember.
business, but choosing to play video games instead
Uh-huh.
of growing, and we did not have like a livable wage at that time, so
Yeah.
it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I sold that, and he brings it over, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get the game." I maybe started my first game And Rachel's like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And I was like, "I'm relaxing.
Please let me have this.
Please just let me
Go
have
away,
this
go
for
away.
48 hours."
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I brought you soup when I asked. I
Yeah.
did give you 24 hours.
She
for
goes,
recovery.
"Don't you think you could be working right now?" And I was like, "Rachel,
I did not.
let me have this, please." Yeah, don't even.
Hey, I grew 2 babies for 9 months, and then I fed them for another year.
And I
from
have
her
taken
breasts.
care of you for a
Yes.
couple months at a time for the last
Yeah, you did. You
8
did a great
years.
job. Thank you.
It all equates out.
Yeah. Yes.
60-40, baby.
Yeah.
Back to the
60-40.
60-40.
40.
So how, I mean, you guys have your own businesses and then you also just got
Yeah.
another job
Yep.
and you've got so much going on all the time. Like,
So much.
how is there balance? How do we balance?
Balance
You
is-
said
balance is not a
routine
thing.
recently came in the picture a little
Yeah,
bit.
I don't think balance is a thing, but I think
We haven't found it yet. So if it's out there, someone teach us.
Yeah.
I would like it.
I think the
That would be
intentionality
great.
of trying to be balanced, or like, or trying to find that, and it's not just like balance, like I got to equal weight this or that, but it's more like, okay, like wife needs more attention, family needs more attention, business needs X amount of attention. So an exercise, I don't know, we're still figuring out those.
Well, I think balance, it's not about like equality. It's about the ability to like pivot to different things, like the ability to like step out of your routine. Because I'm sure also when you've got all these things going on, it's impossible to like be super stringent on a routine because things are always going to
You
be
can't.
throwing it off. And it's more about like coming back to like the pillars and the values. It's figuring out the most important things to you. And like if you can't do everything, at least trying to tap each other out and do the different things that you need to do just to like survive and be at your baseline to then provide for other people.
Totally.
Or at least just provide for your kids. Yeah.
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 At a minimum.
Yeah.
Like, here's your mac and cheese again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
They'll throw a fit about it anyway. So it's like,
My
whatever.
favorite thing, I was on the lift with, this is like when I first moved here with some dad and we were in Keystone, like going over the bunny slope. And he's like, "Oh, those are my girls right there. Like, God, that one's such a bitch, but I love that one." And like he was talking about his kids and it was so funny.
And just
And
candid.
and I was like maybe like 24, 25, and I just like never heard anyone, because none of my friends had kids yet. I'd never heard anyone talk about their kids like that. And I was like, that's incredible. Like I love that because it's so true. I mean, you're gonna like debrief at the end of the day. You're gonna bitch about your kids. And you're gonna be like, what the
100%.
fuck?
Well, my oldest this morning in the car was like, "Who's your favorite?" And I was like, "Based off of this morning's performance, your sister, 1000%. You suck. You woke up freaking out about nothing again." But it's like, but she's the beautiful soul. So
Yeah.
it'll all even out.
Yeah.
We definitely have favorites. Every day it changes
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
One right now has more favorite days than the other this month. But that's
But
okay.
that's okay, yeah.
That's okay.
It'll
Yeah.
switch.
We
Love
have,
them both the same.
yeah. And we're on the same team, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to remind ourselves, like, we're on the same team. Like,
Yeah. We're not
we're not
fighting each other.
We're not on their team. We're on
They're,
each other's
they're
team.
the problem.
Yeah.
No, they're not the problem. We're
Hate
the
them.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
they're like they're our team. We're the coaches, right?
Yes,
We got to be on the
yes.
same page.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the hardest thing? I mean, you mentioned like throwing life and kids in the mix has been hard on the relationship. With kids specifically, what do you think has been the hardest thing, if you can pinpoint one thing?
Managing of emotions.
Yeah.
Emotional capacity and
Like
also,
managing them like
yeah,
with
just
your kids?
with and then also ourselves and
Mm.
not attaching to their emotions and letting it affect us too much so that we affect each other. Because
Mm.
like codependency is very real. We're very independent people, but have a lot of codependencies that just exist within us in our relationship because of how intertwined our lives are with the kids and responsibilities and everything. So even though we are very highly independent, like if he's in a mood because him and Aspen had a fight, it still affects me. And so
Yeah.
I just have to like constantly work to not let it
Remind
interrupt
yourself.
my life or the rest of the day or, whatever we're doing. That is the hardest thing for me.
Mm.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I already suck at like managing my own emotions
Mhm.
just because I felt like I didn't go through a lot of like emotional adversity growing up. My parents were very much, and this is what they knew because of their own, stuff they had to go grow up with.
Their own trauma.
Yeah, their trauma, upbringing, whatever it
Yeah.
is. But like they always tried to remove conflict from my brother and I. And so we never really saw that. And so I broke up with a lot of girls because as soon as we conflicted, I was like, this isn't healthy, not
This is
great for
wrong.
me.
Mm.
Right. And then Rachel's like, no. You sit through this.
Yeah.
We're going to be
We're
okay.
seeing through this.
Yeah. We're just fighting. Like
Yeah.
that happens. Everybody fights. And so I was like, oh, okay. Sometimes we do that a little too much.
Yeah. Go
But
through
like
phases.
having to master your own emotions or control those while also trying to help them manage their emotions can
Mm.
sometimes feel impossible. because you just get so attached. And you're like, oh my gosh, why are you spinning out right now?
Yeah.
We shouldn't be spinning out. Now I'm spinning out. What's happening?
And then you're just like angry and there's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like a time to like
overstimulated
do
and-
things behind closed doors and the time to do things in front of them. But I'm learning that doing it in front of them is just not always the right thing to do.
Interesting.
So yeah.
But
Especially having
working-
girls.
Working through it with them is like super important. Like I feel like for me, it was like, oh, you're having emotions, go to your room. Bye. Like
right.
and so we always like try to make it a point to be like,
How are
yeah,
you
you're
feeling?
mad. That sucked, dude. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
feel better in a little bit, but like you can breathe right now. You can talk to us when you're ready, and just know that we're not like shaming them or saying that there's no place for your madness or your sadness
Yeah.
here. Just so they know that that's normal and that they're responsible for working through it. Like we'll help, but it's mainly like they need to figure it out too,
Interesting.
but not by themselves. And we always like model apology in front of them.
Always apologize.
Yeah, for sure. That's huge. Because I think I could count on two hands how many times my dad has said sorry to me ever
Yeah.
in my whole
Yeah.
life.
The other
I
day,
probably
And he knows
could
it.
as well.
He knows
the other
it.
day, Rachel and I were tiffing, and I like got over my ego and like quietly was like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, hey, girls, come here. Girls.
This
Girls.
is a lesson.
Yeah, you saw your dad do something in front of me. You're going to see him do something else. And I was like, okay, Rachel, I'm sorry.
I
Yes.
said I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that?
I should have thought a little bit more before I
And
said
why are you
stuff.
sorry?
I think out loud.
Mm.
And so part of my problem is that I say things before I think.
Yeah, I do the same
And I'm
thing.
just like, golly, come on, man.
yeah.
Couldn't inside thought, right? We were
Yes.
talking about inside thoughts
Yes,
before. Like
yes.
inside thought a little bit harder.
Uh,
I remember in like 6th grade there was a poster in our classroom and it said, think before you speak. And to this day, I'm like, that's just too hard.
yeah.
No.
You get a poster in your
I'm
house.
going to think as I speak and just make sure that people know that, like, don't take me too serious until I say, hey, take this serious.
Yeah, yeah.
And so leading people in their financial journey, I've had to really like couple that in and be like, okay.
I'm sure you've learned a lot.
You're
through
very
that.
unfiltered with your clients, I feel, though.
But
You have
I
a good
bring in the
relationship.
right people that want that. They
Right.
want the unfiltered, the guy that's not the Morgan Stanley dressed up in a suit and tie,
Totally.
who's just spewing all of this like,
stuff to make them sound
high
smarter.
level stuff where it's like,
Mhm.
look,
So that
it's
they-
not that hard.
Yeah.
It's what do you want to do with your money? Here's the things that we can do. And if you don't know what an
Mhm.
IRA is or what taxes do, it's like, I'll tell you in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Here's exactly what it is. And then I'll tell you this again in a month when we meet again. And that's okay. And at some point it'll stick. But
Mm,
yeah, thinking out loud is my jam.
okay.
But I got to get better at it because, the kids are watching everything we do and
Oh my
they
God.
listen to everything I say to Rachel and the tone of it. And
Wow.
Aspen, our oldest, like she says some things that you're like, did you seriously just do that? Where did you get that? And then I'm like, fuck, that was me.
Oh,
I did that.
wow. It's
I
like a
said
mirror,
that.
kind of.
It's
For
there-
sure.
For like the things that you don't want to know.
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
If
I'm
you
like-
want to know how flawed you are, have kids.
Have kids.
freaking kids.
Yeah, that's so
Oh.
true.
Not just one, but a couple.
Yeah, and I like totally same thing with me. Like I see something that our oldest does, and I'm like, oh God, wow, that is so me. I'm like, I did
Yeah.
that when I was a child too, and now you're doing it, and I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah.
Just, we're all gonna be like messed up in our own ways. They have to deal with that, and they'll figure it out eventually.
they're gonna-
Hopefully, we gave them the tools to like make it not terribly like traumatizing.
Yeah.
And if they
Absolutely.
did, like, hopefully, we still have our relationship, and they can tell us like, Mom, you sucked at that.
Yeah, you really
know?
fudged us up there, guy.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you're right. And
Yeah.
because I was a kid and I was trying to figure it out. And
Totally.
I'm
'Cause
so
we're-
sorry. Don't have kids if you don't want that.
Yeah.
And like our relationship is important, but we're also in relationship with our kids.
Yeah.
And I think that lots of parenting from the generation of our parents was like we're not in relationship with our kids. It's we're in charge of
Authority.
you, which there's like a time and place for that. But truly, I think that if you want to have a good relationship with them long term, like we are in relationship with our kids should be at the forefront. Like that should
Not
be
that we're trying to be their best friends. Like
No,
we're definitely
yeah,
not.
yeah.
We don't want to be Regina George's mom,
yeah.
right? Like that's
Yeah.
not our jam. But we want to
Totally.
be just like a safe space for them, and also give them the tools to survive.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that means doing hard things, but it's
Yeah.
Well,
not.
giving
It's not
them-
telling them what they can't do. It's just like, hey, this is why things work this way.
Right. Well, and I think giving them those tools, right? Like, it's not like anything you guys do or say is gonna like permanently fuck them up, but like
Maybe.
no, but
We
also
won't
like
know.
you guys are trying your best, and like
Yeah.
even when you see things that you don't love about yourselves in them, you're still creating that space where like you're giving them the tools to figure it out. Like they're gonna be okay. You know, like you guys are trying your best as everyone does.
Totally.
It'll be cool, that's for sure.
Yeah, obviously they're gonna be sick as fuck.
Yeah, they're gonna be sick.
Other than that, who knows?
Yeah, but they might have some emotional baggage that they're carrying.
Yeah, that's
we all do.
fine.
Yeah, we all do.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
Well, and talking about the generational stuff too. I mean, I remember we talked about this last time on our podcast of like this generation is less of like you are now mom and you are now dad. Like you can still be Alex and you can still be Rachel and be mom and dad, and you can still have your personalities and like the things that you love, and you don't have to just like give up your entire life, because I feel like it was a very like sacrificial, especially for women. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, you are just a mom and a wife.
Yeah, Rachel did not
That is
accept
your role.
that.
Yeah.
She like almost
No.
went down that hole and then saw it and was like, nope,
I think
not,
I remember you
not
talking
gonna
about
happen.
that. Yes.
Not
yes.
for me.
Was it when you were in Austin?
Yeah.
Like in like a suburb or something?
Totally.
I remember that. Yeah.
Because I was a stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
See, Austin was
And-
good for you.
Everything that has happened to us, I feel like, is good for us.
Yeah.
Do I wish we would have moved to Colorado?
Yeah, she holds it over my
Maybe.
head. She's like, we should have been straight to Colorado.
Maybe, but like also,
y'all went
who
for your
knows what'll
job, right?
happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know everything.
I don't hold it over your head. Yeah.
Like, hi.
Yeah, we're here now. Look, I did the grounding thing.
It was just really hard in Texas. That's why I hold it. When we moved to the suburbs. First 3 years were really fun and magical and like just a blast, like music scene, yoga scene, rock
Being out of
climbing,
Cincinnati
everything.
was just so like
The
it was so
best.
new.
And then we got pregnant and had kids move to the suburbs of Texas, which is just a very scary place.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
don't
sure.
recommend anyone goes there.
No.
Golf carts and guns, baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So big old flags in the back of your truck.
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like my hometown.
yeah.
I know.
And that was hard. That was hard to have kids then. And I definitely felt like lost. I had no idea who I was. I mean, I was 24. It was
That's
freshly
crazy.
24.
Yeah.
No one knows who they are at 24.
Yeah.
And so to be put in that situation when you're trying to raise another little human and you have like no context, it's very easy to slip into I'm just mom, because that you just become in survival mode.
Yeah.
And I'm just dad, but I also have this job. Like, you need my help. And I was very adamant that I wanted him to be an involved parent and
Mhm.
not just a dad who like leaves and does the corporate thing for like ever. I mean, I was
Right.
always
You
very
should,
against
you should
that.
see me do some French braids.
Oh,
I got those
can't
down.
imagine.
Yeah.
I bet you're a great
I can
girl
do
dad.
yours before you leave. if
Oh,
you
that'd
want.
be great. Thanks. Yeah. Maybe some makeup too.
Yeah. I just got into
Thanks.
perler beading too. The kids love that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I expect some gifts on my way
Yes,
out.
yes. You gotta show him the head.
Shit, I
polish,
should have
yeah.
made her a perler bead.
You should have.
Damn it. It's okay.
Next time.
There's still time. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Yeah.
I
So
still expect it.
I think his involvement was really good, and
Mhm.
he did a really good job too of like finding something that he loved. So, like, he took up mountain biking. You know, we talk about biking and snowboarding all the time, but that was like his life-saving grace during that time when we had kids,
Yeah.
because he would just leave and go for a bike ride in the middle of the day to like fill his cup back up so he could be a dad. I didn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
I felt very trapped in Texas. So
Yeah,
when we
I can
moved to
imagine.
Colorado, I finally found my things and my happy things. Like you were
Yeah.
talking about, you have skiing and like these are your things that make you happy.
Mhm.
And I always knew that was what was my happy place. And so when I came here, I felt very settled into like who I was as a mother, who I am as Rachel,
Mm.
and it felt very at home for me.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Would you concur?
I'm still trying to figure out who Alex is.
Yeah. Okay.
But I love it because I get to try new things all the time and
And it's
I'm-
forever changing. You
I
guys are
meet
gonna keep
incredible
changing.
people. And like I just stayed in Edwards this past weekend
Mm-hmm.
with a family who like they raised their kids out there.
Oh, that's
And the
cool.
parents were so non-traditional. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's who I want to be.
Okay.
What do I have to do to get there? So I'm trying to figure that out.
We have to win the lotteries. The answer.
No, I just need more clients, everybody.
plug,
Yeah.
plug.
Just
Yeah.
kidding. No, just kidding.
It's not like regular
Yeah.
financial advisors.
We're so lucky to like be where we are
Mhm.
Yeah.
and to have these problems.
And to build
Um,
everything that y'all have built up into this
Totally.
point. Like, this is crazy.
But like it came on the
Yeah.
backbone of a lot of intentionality. Like
Mm.
it was some luck for sure.
I would say,
But we put
yeah.
ourselves in the right place almost every single time and we said no to so much stuff to the point where I was like, I'm gonna lose myself. Like
Mm.
if I don't have my friends and my drinking and my socializing. And then Rachel's like, but why do you need that? Like,
Yeah.
do these people actually share your common values and what you're trying to do?
Yeah, where should
And-
we be spending our time at this moment to get to the next
Yeah.
step?
And when you stop spending money at the bars, it's amazing how
Yeah.
much you can save.
Some
It
solid
is
advice.
insane how expensive drinks are.
Totally.
And you just go like how much we go skiing and snowboarding,
Yeah.
like a beer at Vail is
it's like $15, $20.
stupid.
It's
And then you
crazy.
feel bad afterwards.
Yes.
So it's like just take your pocket J, go have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do your other recreational stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, it came from a lot of intentionality.
Mm.
And I would have never seen that if it wasn't for Rachel like shaking my world up.
Yeah.
But it was perfect. Just what I needed. So
Mhm. Well, and yeah, then when you get clear on what you want and you mentioned luck, I mean, I think luck is also just putting yourself in the right place.
A lot of manifestation.
Totally. You can't get
So much
lucky
manifestation.
without taking inspired action and manifesting and like getting right with like who you are and what your energy is putting out, you know? I don't think that happens on accident.
And
Go ahead.
Like anytime we felt like this push pull with life, like we would go take a trip. Like Aspen was 6 months old. We put her in the car for 18 hours, drive to Colorado, whatever it was, 16 hours. And we're like, life is not working out for us. Let's go take a drive. Took her to Colorado and like really sat down. We're like, what do we need to change? Like, this isn't going to work. We're going to lose our house. Like, we're going to lose ourselves. And so he went back. He left his job as soon as we got back from that trip. And the next day, I'm like, I kid you not, which is just, that's another thing that gives me chills. He got 3 job offers.
No
for like
way.
jobs that would have put him in a better position for what he wanted to do with the rest of his life, which is to own his own business.
Mhm.
And he got 3 separate opportunities that would let him do that.
That's crazy.
And so like the luck.
Well, hold on.
You
I
know.
never wanted to run my own business. I just wanted flexibility, which I've
Mm.
learned is you have to work for yourself.
Yeah, running
At
your
that
business.
point, yeah, maybe. Yeah, at that point.
No, yeah. I mean, because it was. Oh,
Yeah.
so back to the story. So Cincinnati, I did all the internships, right? And then I go to Austin, work for my cousin-in-law, and he was doing like his own thing, and I was working underneath him. And then I thought that was like the dream. And then I just wasn't advancing at all with him. So I found another guy to go work with. And that was when I got the 3 job offers. And I was like, oh, do I go here and there and there? And this guy was living the way that I wanted to live, where he was working on his terms, working with the people that he wanted to work with, running his business his way. And I was like, oh, I can just work with him forever. Like, that'll be fine. 2 years into it, he's like, I'm retiring. And I was like, what?
Wait, what?
I
Yeah.
got kids now, man. And you know, we just bought this house in Colorado.
COVID happened.
And I'm 28 and these people aren't going to take me serious without you. And so I drove all around Texas and, you know, all these good old boys. And I was like, hey, if David was gone, would you still work with me? And they were like, we thought he was gone like the day we worked with you 2 years ago. So I was like, oh,
Okay, that's nice.
this is possible. This is
Yeah.
real.
People actually like me.
Yeah,
They
people
trust me.
take me serious, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't take myself serious. So it was really hard.
Sure.
And imposter syndrome is huge.
Oh, it's so real.
And
I
I've
deal
dealt
all
with
the
that
time.
up until about last year. And
Mhm.
sometimes it'll flare up.
Totally.
But then I just look in the mirror and I'm like, come on, you're so strong.
Yeah.
You're so strong. You've got this.
Flex a little bit.
You've worked through. You've kept your wife along this, kept your wife alive this long, right? And your 2 kids think you're pretty cool, so like this is
Yeah.
gonna work, and you know whatever. So yeah, it's been 3 years of running my own shop, and
That's so cool.
I cannot imagine a life without it. And I try to like give dads advice, like if you want to be there at all the school stuff and be the watchdog dad, and like you have to control your time, and you don't have to run your own business to do that. There are some ways to do that, especially with the remote work now. But like if you can start doing everything you can to get in that position, your kids are gonna hopefully thank us.
Yeah.
And not talk about us in therapy for being around too much.
Totally.
Like my
But
dad was
there's
just
some
always
therapy
around.
value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been interesting.
I love that. And what's next for you guys? Do you guys have lots of plans for the summer? Are you hanging out? I know we've got
We
a
want to move.
pending
Yeah,
move.
we're trying to move.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
Rachel-
know if you wanted to.
Rachel picked up a new job just so that we could get to the mountains faster.
Yeah.
Totally.
That was very
Taking inspired
intentional.
action.
Everything was going really well with my freelance work, and it was going too well. And we're like, uh-oh, things are going too
Yeah.
well. I mean, last time things went too well. Yeah. But we went to fast track our move to the mountains, and living anywhere in the mountains is super expensive.
Mhm.
So just a quick way to outpace inflation, I got another job on top of my freelance work that I can do on the side.
On top of your hats, on top of everything else that you do.
On top of all the other things. And we're trying to move this summer or maybe next summer. We're just waiting for like the perfect house. We're trying to downsize into like half of the square footage into a home maybe that maybe even needs some work, but like very much so we just want to be
Location.
in the place that we
Mhm.
love,
Mhm.
and we want to live the lifestyle every day. I want to drop my kids off at school, go for a morning skin, start my job, pick them up, and then get some laps in with them in the
Mhm.
afternoon. And it's not possible here in Denver. I know people
Yeah.
talk about the mountain accessibility, but it's not the same as living in a mountain town. We really value
You
that
got 8
level
inches of powder.
accessibility.
We're there the next day.
Yeah,
Kids go to school. When you get back from school, we're going to the mountain.
totally.
Can't do that here.
And I know there's
Pick 'em
lots
up,
of
go
like
camping.
pros and cons and quirks of living in a mountain town, but
For
I
sure.
think the trade-offs for the way that we live would make sense. Like we drive to the front, like over by Golden at least, and past Golden, so like into the mountains at least like 4 times a week to do things we love, whether it be biking with our kids, hiking, camping,
Yeah.
snowboarding.
Some people
biking.
commute to work. We commute to fun, and it's
Yeah.
just like
We work
it's taking
here.
a toll,
Yeah.
and we take the toll, and our toll bill is like $300 a month.
Literally.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
we cut that out of our life,
And
you know.
time is so valuable. I mean, all the
know.
driving that you guys do
So
there
valuable.
and back too.
We would get a lot of our life back. And so that is like our next move. This was the stepping stone.
This was the
Denver
conduit,
stepping stone.
Yes.
to the next thing.
Yeah, and I think if we would have moved here out of college, we would have like ended up probably like in a very small like mountain town like Crested Butte or something like that, which is very appealing. But to us, like I think Summit County probably makes the most sense right now. But we're open. We have our Zillow searches on for here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
But
Just
I mean,
so
you can't get a mountain town with Chipotle other
Yeah,
than Summit. Like
you're so
there's just
right.
there's no other place.
And a Target.
Yeah, and Target.
Uh-huh.
That's right. You guys get Amazon out there, or do you have to do a PO box?
We
or-
have Amazon, but it's not Prime. It takes like a week.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Which
That's probably
honestly
good.
is good. I shop so much less now living there because you have a PO box. You never know if your mail's going to get to you or not. The amount of stuff that gets returned because UPS and FedEx show up at your house, USPS shows up at the PO box. So you never know what address. Going to the PO is kind of a pain in the ass. Like it makes you shop a lot less, and you just need less. Like it's nice being somewhere where not everything is as accessible, because then Chipotle is like an exciting thing, and like you make do with less, and you realize that you need less, so you don't consume as much.
Yeah, we've gotten
which-
so accustomed to the suburban lifestyle that
Oh,
I'm
I'm
like,
sure.
oh, we got to get out before we get like we're gonna get too comfortable.
Yeah.
We're gonna get too comfortable again.
Yeah.
We get so comfortable here.
And this was never the goal. The goal was to get there.
You're like, wait, no, we don't want this. Go
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Go.
snap out of it. Snap
Yeah.
out of it. Which, again, we have to remember how like lucky we are to be in
Yeah,
this situation, because
totally.
people would kill, but this just was never what we set out for.
Mhm.
We left Cincinnati with a purpose, and we got to keep on.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm
So
excited
check in
for
with
you
us in a few
guys
years.
to be in the mountains. It's gonna be so exciting.
Yeah. We can't wait.
Come visit all the time.
Yeah.
If I end up moving back to the Front Range,
Yeah.
which I will do kicking and screaming. I'm like, no.
Then you
I
can
wanna
just
ski every day.
You can just come stay on our couch because we're not gonna have
That's
a whole
all I
guest
do.
bedroom. I don't think.
I'll
we will.
just babysit
You
in
think so?
exchange.
They-
You babysit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm great with kids.
We
They
don't even
trust
need you to
me
be great with
kids.
kids. I just need you to be there.
Yeah, I'll just be there.
Can
yeah.
you call 911? Great.
Yes,
You're
I can do
hired.
that. Yes, absolutely. You come home, I'm like teaching them TikTok dances.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They would eat that up probably.
Yeah.
They love to
They love
dance. They
dancing.
love
Oh,
dancing.
I love that.
They have good music taste.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know that.
Big Rufus
Yeah.
Dussault fans there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys have cool parents, not like regular parents.
Not
Not
like
like
regular
regular
parents.
parents.
Totally. Well, this was so fun. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a blast. I'm so glad we finally got to hang out,
Yeah.
and we'll have to go ski or hang out more in the future.
We need
soon.
to.
And we'll
We're
get you
going-
into biking.
Yeah.
Yes, and I will get into biking.
Are you going to
Those are
Keystone
promised.
Closing Day?
When is that?
Sunday. Ponscombe.
No, I don't think so. This weekend is going to be like my spa weekend.
Okay. Okay.
I've been on a bender for like 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
So coming off of that,
Yeah.
I've had like back-to-back visitors. Like we were talking about, like when you're in the mountains, you just have
Yeah.
like so many people staying all the time. So I haven't really had like a weekend where I like wake up in my bed on a Saturday and I like have nowhere to be.
Yeah.
So me and my roommates got massages at Peak 8
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
on
it's
Saturday.
so
We're
nice.
like gonna go to the spa all day. I'm gonna bring my journal and a book and just like veg.
Vibe
That
out.
is so nice.
So, but then Sunday we might go to the Goth Babe concert in Vale.
Oh heck yeah.
But I'm gonna veg for 2 days, okay?
That's
Friday
gonna be
night,
so
and I'm not
fun.
drinking all week.
Good.
There you
which is
go.
nice.
Good,
There you go.
Good. Goth Babels, that'll be so fun.
Well, it's like a free concert at the top of the mountain, but I think you have to get there pretty early to go. So, and I'm very into sleeping this weekend, so I don't know if I'll
If
take
it's
it.
for
But
you.
also, maybe I'll end up at Keystone. I'll text you. Are you guys going?
I
I
think
think
so.
we're gonna take the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are we gonna
nice.
take the kids? Or are we gonna get a
I mean, we can't find a babysitter right now, so
Yeah. We might
They're
have to
along for the
take
ride.
kids. They're always
they're always along
Guess
for
what
the
I'm
ride.
gonna close
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Everyone's going to the Ponscombe.
Yeah.
You know, they would think that
They
was
have
so
a kitty
cool.
Ponscombe.
They would think that's
Not
so
that
cool.
we should-
Cute. Well, now that she's ripping, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh
She
my
could,
god.
yeah.
I know.
Logan would thrive at that.
Yeah.
She would do great.
but thank you guys so much, and also tell everyone where they can find you. Plug all of your
Oh,
your
yeah.
things.
You can find me at Rachel Lynn Engen on Instagram, and at Your Mom Shreds on Instagram is just a little fun project that I do. And I work for Popfly. So if you are an outdoor brand, I help connect creators, photographers, videographers with marketing campaigns. So if you need that, that's where I'm at. And I hopefully will be in Summit County very soon.
Yeah. And you can just find me on the piggyback of Rachel's socials. I don't think I'm allowed to plug my firm with my compliance team. Not
Oh.
approving it, but
It's okay. They can slide in
You
your
can find
DMs.
Alex on LinkedIn. He's
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn. There you go.
Yeah.
LinkedIn guy.
Yeah, he is.
Well, it's a nice way to talk to people.
No, totally. I mean, I haven't updated
Yeah.
my LinkedIn, I don't think, since. I think mine still says Texas Roadhouse waitress.
Yeah, hers was
That's
teaching,
so
5th grade
funny.
teacher. That was like 8 careers ago.
Yeah.
Alex like does it very non-traditionally. He just shares like personal tidbits and like family
Oh, really?
tidbits.
Yeah, just try to make it easy for people to talk about
Heck
money.
yeah.
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 I love it.
Yeah. But m6wealth.com.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. This is so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, obviously for these two, I'm sure you can reach out. You guys
Thanks
both
for
have
having us. This is
community
so
of your
fun.
own.
Thanks for coming out to the burbs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. My
Yeah.
first time in
Yeah.
Aurora.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Driving out here but it's also crazy, like driving from like the dumping snow to then like you go through the tunnel and it's like a different world.
Yes.
Like
It's a whole
it is
different
nice
world.
having some sunshine. I appreciate it. But yeah, this was so fun. And I'll catch you guys next week.
Sweet.
See ya.